This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at Caneswear.com or InterMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Friday. Good morning, boys and girls. Ready to rock and roll on the show. See, let me adjust here a second. Let me adjust here a second, man. Let me see if this is a little better. Little better? Yeah, a little better. Okay. All right, there we go. Anyway, hope you all are doing well out there. Can't complain, right? Heater 2-0, 3-0. And now the Panthers are 2-0, looking to see if they can go up 3-0 tonight. We got the game at 8 o'clock on TNT. And this has been just awesome that we have it like every night. You know, every night we get to showcase one of our teams, you know, globally, you know, because obviously the NHL is being watched all over the world, and so is the basketball. So it's actually pretty cool for people to kind of get to see, you know, our teams being showcased. So I think it's actually pretty awesome. So we got a lot of things to talk about. We've got Ira Winderman going to join us now at 10 o'clock. He's got Heat shoot around, so we're going to get him a little earlier than normal. Normally it's at 10:30, but he's got shoot around, so we'll get him on now. What's it called? Marcel Louis Jacques will stop by at 11 a.m. Alan Poupart is at Panthers skate around. Or pre-skate or whatever the hell they call it. Morning skate, right? Whatever. Anyway, Poop is there, so we'll talk a little Panthers and Dolphins with him. Dolphins start their OTAs. You know, that's kind of a backseat thing right now, as much as we are a Dolphin-centric type of platform, even though we do talk about everything. But obviously, Heat and Panthers deserve, front and center in the love. Anyways, there's really nothing to talk about with the Dolphins. I mean, OTAs are, you know, it's not much. It's not something that's really going to change anything that we're doing or what's going to happen during the season at this point in time. May football doesn't make a damn bit of difference, but of course we'll get some thoughts. I saw Cam Wolf said that Van Ginkel will be playing more on the inside in Fangio's defense. I'm interested to see how Fangio can develop that young man in his system, because I'm a big Van Ginkel guy. So the Heat get it done last night, 128-102. We had our own post-game show last night, like we've done already the last couple of days. Did it for the Panthers, did it for the Heat, had some fun. I probably will not go on tonight if the Panthers win, okay? I'll wait till the next morning, and then we'll get it done, and we'll do our thing, okay? Tomorrow will be an abbreviated show, okay? I need to go to the doctor tomorrow, so tomorrow will be a little bit of a short program. Nothing's wrong with me, just going for, you know, a checkup is what I'm doing, and doing something I've never done before. So, yeah. Oh, well. Good thing is I'll be knocked out and I won't have to deal with it. But anyway, so we got a little doctor's visit tomorrow, so we'll probably end the show a little earlier than normal tomorrow, just so to give you guys the heads up. All right, let's get to a little basketball talk with Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right. There he is. How you feeling, man? You feeling tired?
I'm more stunned and shocked than anything. I mean, after a year's worth of Acura Pembroke Pines reports, and to see where this team is right now, didn't see this coming, couldn't have seen this coming. And yet I sort of just wrote a column right now. Maybe we all undersold the ability of this team to shock us by making it about more than just talent, Big O, by making it about culture and system and all those little words that I know you put aside But at the end of the day, it means something because when you watch the whining and groveling Boston Celtics grasping for anything, Big
Yeah.
O, who's more talented? The Celtics.
The
Who has
Celtics.
more All-Stars? The Celtics. Who has
Yeah.
more All-NBA talent? The Celtics. So it has to be about more than that because there's a lot of talent sitting on the sidelines right now while the Miami Heat play on.
No, there's no doubt. And I don't cast that aside at all, anything about culture or anything like that. But I'm also not going to just lay it all that simple, too. Breaks have happened, and you've taken advantage of them. The injury to Giannis opened up the door for you right from the get-go, and you kicked the door down, and you took advantage of that moment. And then the Knicks are frauds, so you got to break there because they're really not that good.
Instead of the
is.
Cavaliers, right. The Cavaliers would have been the tougher series if they had beaten the
Right.
Knicks in the first round, sure.
Right, but because you're so fundamentally sound, because you have the best coach on the planet, you're going to have a chance against teams that are your equal anyways, and you're going to have a fighting chance against teams that are even superior to you. So when you run into the Knicks, you get a break there. That's nothing. And then now here, you got a Joe Mazzulla who, it's. I'm not telling you every young coach is not a good thing to do this because Steve Kerr was young when they threw him into the Warriors, and
Bo was young.
Spo was young, but those guys, see that the difference between those two and Mazzulla, I think Spo was like, he was nurtured. He was really brought along, through two coaches. And he finally kind of got a long time to develop under these guys. And then Kerr was already around championship teams in the Spurs and the Bulls. So he was already around big moments and big teams and stars and all that. And so I kind of, in a way, as much as people pick on Mazzulla and we should or whatever and have some fun with it, I kind of feel bad for him, Ira, because this is a really difficult situation to throw a young, inexperienced coach in there. And then you're going up against, Spo, who's running circles around you, bro. It's just, it's kind of tough. And so Miami has had several breaks here. And then the other thing that we're finding out that's kind of part of this whole existence of the Celtics, they've been underachievers the entire time. It's kind of what they've been. As talented as they are, we kind of have seen these moments from them and from Tatum and all these guys and Jaylen Brown. And we always wonder what's wrong with the dynamic. And Bomani Jones had a very good point I saw the other day, that the shit we're watching with the Celtics has gone on with 3 different coaches. So it's not just a Mazzulla thing. This Copperfield act has gone on with the other 2 coaches before them. So it's kind of something that, I don't know, there's something wrong with that team. So yes, the Heat have the foundational approach, the culture, all of that, but they've also kind of been given a path that's very beatable for them, and they've been able to take advantage of it.
And look, and there's certainly something to that, but like you said, there's also the matter. Right.
Unlike the Panthers, in other words, who have had 3 brutal tests. I mean, 3 brutal tests. In fact, all 3 of those teams, I could argue, are better than any of the teams they've played.
You know what? I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you for this reason. The Heat didn't go against Giannis in 2.5 of the 5 games. The Bruins were without Patrice Bergeron for most of that series, one of their leading men. Similar there. Second round, the Heat got their preferred opponent, the better matchup in the Knicks, instead of playing the Cavaliers. Think about this, Big O. The Maple Leafs in the first round played Tampa Bay. Would you have felt as confident against a Tampa Bay team that humiliated the Panthers in their second round last year? So,
Ira, Vegas picked Toronto to win the cup.
Okay, but what I'm saying is,
once you knocked out the Bruins, they picked Toronto. Once
I understand that. But for the Panthers,
you knocked out Toronto, my man,
right?
they
But
picked
for the Panthers, Panthers to get past the team,
the title, they're picking
Toronto
Denver.
Tampa is in the Panthers' heads. That was no longer a roadblock. They got the preferred matchup from foundational standpoint for them. So you can look at the parallels there also. It's not necessarily that different either in that case. In Carolina.
Then again, you picked Tyler over Verhaeghe, so I'm not surprised you've gone this path. Like, I don't even know where the fuck you got the insanity to pick Tyler over Carter Verhaeghe, a guy that's been a stud 2 straight years, healthy the entire time, and playoff performance. Meanwhile, Tyler Hero's on the side hanging out with his IG girlfriend. So I'm not surprised you've gone this path, my brother.
Nah, I see similar paths. I think the paths are more similar.
You still think Tyler over Carter Verhaeghe? You still think that?
I have no idea where you're coming from. What are you talking about here?
I asked you a couple weeks ago, who's the best third wheel, Tyler or Carter Verhaeghe? You had the insanity of telling me Tyler Hero over Carter Verhaeghe. You said that on the show. I asked you that.
And you know what? You can be a different kind of third wheel. And I'm going to tell you this now.
Oh, God.
Tyler Hero.
Is that how you're going to do it?
In the starting lineup might not have worked as well. But Tyler Hero back in his 6th man role was as solid as any Heat player has been in that role in years.
Tyler Hero's BBs haven't dropped compared to Carter Verhaeghe. Are you out of your mind, Ira?
No, I'm quite rational, and I'm talking about the NBA's 2022 6th Man of the Year award winner.
And was he in the playoffs? Who gives a shit about 6th Man award? I need somebody that can actually be durable and be in the playoffs for me. Has Tyler done that the last 2 years? Or has Carter Verhaeghe done that the last 2 years? And by the way, performed at a high level in the playoffs.
Yeah, I just think that some of this notion of the Heat better off with Tyler Hero and not there. Let's also understand the path they took to get here.
I'm
going to respectfully disagree. Respectfully.
God. Anyway. All right. So has this team given up, by the way, the Celtics?
It's really interesting because, Big O, when you say is the Celtics given up, I think that is unfair and insulting to the Miami Heat. Don't you also make someone give up? Don't you also force someone to capitulate? So what I'm saying is, instead of the notion, and you know this, Big O, because I know you have some of the national shows in the background, you watch them after. The thing I can't stand about the playoffs where they stand right now is this. Not that the Nuggets are winning the other series, the Lakers are losing it. Not that the Heat are winning this series, the Celtics are losing it. Let's give some credit to the teams that are imposing their will. Something you and I spoke about at the top of our Accurate Pembroke Pines report here. So yes, are the Celtics cowering? Are they teetering? Yes. But why? Because of the Miami Heat. Are the Lakers being humiliated? But why? Because of the Denver Nuggets. Because players like Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler and a bunch of supporting casts are making the other teams look bad. This whole notion that because everyone wanted Lakers Celtics number 17 or whatever the number is, that if something else happened, it was those teams losing more than the other teams winning. The Miami Heat right now are playing great basketball. And that exhibition last night at the Kaseya Center, say what you want about the Celtics or not, I would put the Miami Heat's effort last night against any team in the NBA, be it the Nuggets, be it the Lakers, be it the Warriors, be it the Bucks with Giannis. The Heat, the way they played last night, even if the Bucks had a healthy Giannis, would have been right there with them also. They're simply hitting their stride at the right time. So instead of saying, are the Celtics capitulating or giving in, it's the force that makes you do that the Heat are showing right now.
Well, that was my point. That was my point, that the Celtics are giving up because their will has been broken by the Heat.
Yes. And I would say that they're not being quitters as they're being labeled, that they're being forced into submission. They're in this submission hold. It's literally you're waiting for them to tap out. Like, okay, enough, call uncle or whatever. That's what the Heat's doing. It is shocking, but it is in the moment and it is real right now.
Caleb Martin is maybe the one guy out of all the role players that could be elevating himself to maybe a little bit more than just a key role player.
Well, yeah, he was a starter most of the season. Until Kevin Love showed up, he was a starter, so he did elevate himself. One thing, Big O, we talk about Heat bad contracts. Let's be honest. You and I have done this over the year.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Martin, 3 years at $20.4 million, might be the best contract in the NBA this side of Austin Reeves. I mean, what they've done with that. And so all this talk about they let PJ Tucker go, they wouldn't spend the money, they wouldn't get hard capped. Which would you rather have right now?
Which is all true, by the way, which is all true.
Yes. 10 years younger, $10 million cheaper, helps on the books against whatever you want to say, but it's just a value deal. So you have to look at that also. Now, the question is, what do you do with Gabe Vincent and Max Strus during the offseason? But the one thing we've heard consistently, Big O, you know this. You've been doing this now for decades with the Heat. We always hear that Mickey Arison is willing to pay for a champion, willing to pay for a winner. It's going to be fascinating if the Heat win a championship and Gabe Vincent goes in there and gets an outside huge offer. Would the Heat match it? They don't have to match. It's not unrestricted free agency, but would the Heat do that? Same thing with Max Strus. And that's where it gets a little bit interesting because in the moment right now, the Heat are playing like a great team, but Orlando Alzagari are the Heat a great team. So just like you told me when they brought back the team from last season, oh, they made a mistake, it was too much. This is what they're going to have to do. Do you live in the moment? Do you look to the future? But you know what, Big O? I'm going to do plenty more, apparently, accurate Pembroke Pines reports with you until the Heat's playoff run is over. So we'll put that off for the moment. But right now, everyone on this roster is earning their keep. You know what? Maybe not to the price points, but even Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson.
Oh, no, I mean, listen, the Caleb contract is a fantastic contract. There's a whole bunch of bad contracts out there on the team. Lowry's one of them. Duncan's one of them. Obviously, we all know that. But the Duncan thing has kind of changed because the work he's put in to play off the ball, the assists, those kind of things now, he has now increased his trade value, whereas you couldn't trade Duncan Robinson for the last year. After becoming one of the best shooters, he got kind of exposed for being limited. Well, now he's showcasing that he's not so limited. So Miami could open up some cap space by getting rid of Duncan. So Duncan is doing something besides helping you. He's also increasing his trade value.
Or you can keep him and see even more of a gain in his games. You know what? Ascension is not always straight up. Sometimes there's dips and dives. The concern with Duncan was obviously the defense. Well, the Celtics have not been able to find a way to manipulate it, and they have some pretty damn good scorers when they do try to call him out in the pick and roll. But Eric Spoelstra, with his zone and gimmick defenses and junk defenses, has found a way around that. Duncan has never stopped working. Again, the one notion I hate in sports is this, that a player gets his money and just goes off into the sunset and just says, I got paid, I don't care. There are maybe a few examples of that, but the examples I've seen on the Heat, Duncan Robinson has continued to work relentlessly. This season, the shooting coach Rob Fodor was around more. He's been working with Rob. He's been working on his game. Duncan Robinson did not sit there and saying, I got paid, I'm done. I don't think that's happened with Bam Adebayo. He's grown his game. I think Tyler Hero will be the same way. He'll want to make a statement with what he earns. That's all you want. When you invest in a player, you want a player to continue to invest in himself. The Heat get those kind of players. If they pay Gabe Vincent, he'll get better. If they pay Max Strus, he'll get better because that's who those people are, just like Duncan, to his credit.
Yeah, no doubt. And by the way, you were talking about Mickey will pay for a championship. Here's the funny part. They cut corners this year. So if they go winning a championship, it's Eric Spoelstra making the most out of less that you gave him.
You know what? Did they cut corners this year, or did they?
Yeah, bro, they could have brought PJ Tucker back.
Okay, and where's PJ Tucker now? Hello, hi. Where's PJ Tucker?
PJ Tucker would be here, advancing to the finals,
and Caleb Martin wouldn't, because you could not bring them both back. It was impossible under the cap.
You pay the tax.
No. Big O, that's where everyone's gotten it wrong. That has nothing to do with the tax. If you paid PJ Tucker and gave him your mid-level, you could not have given Caleb Martin more than the minimum. No, you could not have done that once you paid a full mid-level to PJ Tucker. It was impossible for the Heat to bring them both back. The only way you could have brought Caleb Martin back was for him to take the minimum this year and agree to a deal down the road. There's a lot of little arcane rules in here.
They couldn't have moved somebody else to accommodate.
Because this, he didn't have the bird rights to get the kind of money he got with the exception they gave him. So no, any manipulation, they would have had to fall below they would have had to like trade Bam or Jimmy to get below the tax. So there's other factors in play. So what I'm saying is this. Look, we have said stuff during the course of the year, but let's cycle back to where we are right now on May 22nd, 2023. Big O, everything has worked. It just has worked.
Oh, no, hey, Ira, it's worked because they have the best coach in the league. It hasn't worked because the front office has gone all out.
It doesn't matter how you get here.
The front office has cut corners and has made terrible decisions, but Spoelstra makes up for all the fuck-ups above him.
See,
Let's be honest now. Let's be honest.
My thought is this.
I know you're not going to do it. I know ain't nobody on the beat's going to do it, but I don't give a shit. To me, it doesn't matter whether I'm on the beat or not. I'm going to say it like it is. The Heat have done a whole bunch of screw-ups, and that guy that coaches makes up for all your screw-ups and makes it better than what it really is. You give him Whiteside and Johnson, and the guy goes 31-10 and beats the damn Warriors. This guy is as I've told you all year, the guy that really is saving their ass constantly is Eric Spoelstra. Not Pat Riley, not Mickey Harrison, because they screw up a lot. It's Eric Spoelstra, the one that's bailing the shit out of this Heat team all the time.
And on May 22nd, based on where they stand,
Duncan, he has to make more out of Duncan, and it took him a while, like he talked about those 10 months of the guy working and all that. But there you go. There's Duncan. You
could look at the Panthers, and you would have told me almost this entire season the Sergei Bobrovsky contract was awful. And when the Lion King,
it's still awful.
And when the Lion King came on and was playing so well, Alex Lyon, we said it was even worse. But again, this is like Eric Spoelstra would say, a result-driven league. And no matter how you get from point A to point Z, if you're at point Z in the best possible place, which the Heat are right now, everything gets cleansed and everything is fine. And Duncan's providing a payoff. And Kyle Lowry's had huge playoff games. And you know what? Big O, I think it's insulting to Duncan Robinson to say that he's come around just because of Eric Spoelstra. Like you just said, he's worked his ass off. And I think it's insulting to Kyle Lowry to say he's made contributions.
I think everybody's better because of Spoelstra, my man. Okay. Every single damn player
on this team. There's two elements, but there's also the player element in there also. And Kyle Lowry, after 6 weeks off of that knee injury, worked his butt off so that when the games mean the most, a championship level point guard has had huge games against the Bucks, against the Knicks, and in the series against the Celtics. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you get somewhere. It matters that you get somewhere. And you know what? If there is a parade down Biscayne Boulevard, and I'm getting way ahead of myself, Big O, so I apologize. But if there is, there's not going to be a bad contract float and a good contract float. It's going to be a lot of guys waving and throwing confetti.
I get it. There's no doubt. Now Denver's at another level, by the way. That's just
so is Boston.
Now if Spo can beat Denver, you better give him a 30-year contract extension.
He'll get what he wants. He gets what he wants. He has personnel control. He has the working relationship. But you know what? Sometimes it's about more money and ego and status. It's being in a place where you can work through the foibles. That when you and I were doing our accurate Pembroke Pines report and you were looking at your chat board on YouTube and everyone wanted to fire Eric Spoelstra, let's be honest, Big O. In January and February and March, no, not you, but I'm saying some of your listeners, our loyal listeners out there in the Big O show were saying that it never was a question because the Heat stand by their man. And you see the difference. And I wrote it Sunday in the Sun Sentinel. Greg Popovich, Eric Spoelstra, through the good times and through the bad times. Stan Van Gundy pointed it out. Before the Heat went to the finals in the 2020 bubble, the Miami Heat missed the playoffs 3 of the previous 5 years. How many coaches survive missing playoffs 3 out of 5 years? It's institutional. So Big O, matter of fact, I'm going to give you a perfect example here, Big O. There might have been times during your career where you were earning more money, but you're probably more comfortable in your situation now than maybe any other situation, correct?
Try the reverse.
No, what I'm saying is
I
you're
know.
happy.
I'm just telling you. It's
Right.
a lot
So what I'm
better
saying
now
is,
than ever.
right, you're happier now than ever because you're in the right place. It's not always about the money. It's not always about the affirmation. That's
No,
what
no,
Eric Spoelstra is.
in my case, it's both. Just saying. I just want to state it. I just want to
Right.
state it.
So you get to the right place. Eric Spoelstra's in the right place. The Heat know it. He know it. They move on together, and you're seeing the results right now. It's still mind-blowing here at 10:15 in the morning on May 22nd that we're talking about this. It also says something about who the team is, who the players are, who the front office is, and who the coach are. And you have to give credit also when credit is due at the time that credit is due.
Spo gets all the credit in my eyes. Spo and Butler, because you also have to have a superstar that is willing to help others grow. And the combination of Spo and Butler has been absolutely magical. For me, Spo is the best coach that we've ever had here, by the way. His resume is better than Pat Riley's in a Heat
Yes,
perspective.
I agree.
No, there's no doubt about that. I mean, shit, Butler has won more with less than Dwayne Wade. Okay, nobody's won with less than Jimmy Butler. So to me, that combination has been one of the most beautiful things because Butler was kind of viewed as almost like a selfish player at times, or that he's constantly fighting with people. And since he's gotten here, all we've ever seen is he is the most selfless player, selfless superstar I have ever seen in my life.
Yes. On the court.
I've never seen this in my life. A superstar that is like yesterday. He didn't need the spotlight. He didn't need to score 30 points. He just needed to do this, to the center. And to him, he's fine with Gabe getting 29 and Caleb doing his thing and all that shit. And just superstars are not like that, dude. That's just not normal of superstars. So to me, that's why they're succeeding. One, Spo's the damn genius, and then you've got the ultimate team superstar I have ever seen in my life.
Oh, I agree. But the difference is with Dwayne and Jimmy, and it is a difference because you know how things are measured. Dwayne has the rings. Jimmy doesn't have the rings yet. So he has to get the rings.
Stars. Jimmy doesn't have any stars.
It's still a ring thing. This league is still a ring thing. It's still about this.
I don't look at it that way because I don't blame Jimmy for not having a ring. It's not his fault.
I don't blame him. I'm just talking about the reality.
Bam and Goran got injured because we are learning, right, that the Lakers were the frauds in the bubble, not the Heat, right? Now we're all good.
Frauds
right?
in the bubble.
We're all good out there, right, folks? The Lakers were the frauds in the bubble, not the Heat. Huh?
There were no frauds in the bubble. The final four teams that made the
No, because if there's no injuries, the Heat are the ones winning the damn title, not the Lakers.
But the bottom line is, in the bubble, the four teams that made the Final Four in the bubble are the four teams that made the Final Four this year, which shows that they are enduring franchises with the type of leadership at the top that can deliver you to this level. So anything about bubble fraud, we need to move on off of right now.
Ride the wave with me. They're getting swept over there on the Western Conference. Come on, Ira, ride the wave with me.
Nah, they also beat the Warriors.
Frauds. The Heat are not frauds. They were frauds.
No one's a fraud.
Got injured.
No one's a fraud.
Tyler Hero,
you know what? I declare this a fraud-free Monday.
Is it any shot that Tyler Hero comes off the bench in the finals?
Well, if he can come back, number one.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Any shot if he
does. Because what's he going to play? 8, 10 minutes, 12 minutes?
Of course he does. Of course he does. Just because Kyle Lowry has already opened the path that you can contribute and do that. The bigger question, Orlando Alzagari, is does he come off the bench next season? That's the bigger question. That's the question of team content.
About that right now. We can.
What I'm saying is that's the long play. There's no concern. Tyler will come off the bench and play if he can. And you know what? Eric Spoelstra will coach the best 9-man rotation. If it includes Tyler, God bless him. And if
I'm
it
trading
doesn't,
Tyler's ass this offseason. If I can unload Tyler, I will unload Tyler as fast as I possibly can. He's too fragile, doesn't last long in this league. Move on from his ass. And right now, all these guys are proven you don't need him. So move on. I'd be moving him. That guy doesn't hold up. That's what I would do. Forget about starting or on the bench. I'd move his ass off this team next year. Him and Duncan, I'd move the salaries.
Damn. And that's why I enjoyed your last 2 movies, Horrible Bosses. But hey, you do it how you want to do it.
Hey, man, listen, they can produce other guys. They can find other guys. Why not? Why spend all that money on Tyler when he's unreliable? I mean, you've gone to the playoffs twice. You were a shot away from making to the finals. You are now going to go to the finals. And where is Tyler Hero to help you out?
Working his butt off, trying to get back from a broken hand that he made on a hustle play.
But I like that. I like that part of the sentence. Anyway, Kevin Love, how's the ankle?
I don't know if it's an ankle or it's a calf. He was wearing his stim pack walking out of the locker room yesterday, so I am curious about that. We're going to meet him. Matter of fact, that's where I had to go early today. We're going to meet with Spoelstra and the players at noon. We'll have a better sense. But let's face it, when it comes to injuries, everything is last minute in this league. But again, you talk about options. If you have to go without Kevin, not optimal, but hey, Caleb Martin you put in there. Honestly, Haywood Highsmith might be able to come off the bench and give you something. Again, we talk about contracts. We talk about players. We talk about finding fits. We talk about the front office's good job. I would have no issue if Haywood Highsmith has to step in. I think he can give you quality minutes also. This is a deep roster that has plug-and-play complementary pieces behind Bam and Jimmy.
All right, good stuff there. What are you working on the Sentinel leading up to the game tomorrow?
You know, I wrote a column on Jaylen Brown's comment last night that the Heat are sort of playing over their heads and overachieving, you know, and maybe they're not. Maybe they're just better. Maybe they're just this good. Maybe guys like Gabe Vincent and Max Strus and Duncan Robinson and Caleb Martin don't have to apologize to anyone. Maybe because they don't have the credentials of a Jaylen Brown or a Jason Tatum for this moment, in this style and these type of games, they're more than good enough. And they're showing that right now, and God bless them. So I wrote a story on that. I wrote a story on my Ask Ira about where do the Heat go right now when it comes to the coaching matchup. Really, where do the Celtics go right now? And man, Joe Mazzulla, that's a tough thing. Like you said, you're facing John Wooden. You're facing one of the all-timers, and you're trying to figure it out at 34 years old. It's really hard. I remember a 34-year-old Orlando Alzagari on some station so far on the end of the dial, it was 4 digits. When you're young, you have to take your lumps. You have to deal with it. You go into the conference finals with a 34-year-old head coach. This is what you're going to get.
Yep, that's right. And he was making less money. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeats and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
Catch up next week to yell at you again. Thank you, Big O.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Acura Pembroke Pines, 15601 Pines Boulevard. They got a lot that is loaded, baby. Brand new vehicles, certified pre-owned vehicles. Get on down there. Tell them that Big O sent you. Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone. They know how to get it done at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
See, that's the difference here where I love what's going on, but I'm not going to be blinded by what's really going on. Come on. You know what I mean? Like the Tyler Hero stuff. He's unreliable as hell. If you can unload his ass, you unload him. The problem is we get caught up in prisoner of the moment bullshit. And that's what usually happens, typical to fans. You know what I mean? You are fanatical, a lot of you, because you're nonsensical. And that's the problem. You don't stay level-headed throughout it. I mean, Ira continues to take Tyler over Carter Verhaeghe. Are you out of your mind? Like, seriously. You know what I'm saying? So, and let's not kid ourselves. There's a lot of bad decisions on this team, but Spo has bailed this team out. That's just the way it is. The Duncan contract hasn't changed. It's been a bad contract for a while now. The fact that he's playing well now, that has nothing to do with it. Just like Kyle Lowry, it's a terrible contract. He's a role player coming off the bench for $30 million a year. Where does that make any sense? You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things that, please, I get it. It's awesome. I'm loving this run. It's great, but let's not make it out more than what it is. Giannis got injured. You took advantage of it. You eliminated his ass. The Knicks aren't anything special. I told you from the get-go, Heat should have no problem with the Knicks. Why should the Knicks win? Who are they? The only idiots that actually thought the Knicks were something were Knicks fans, but they're not very smart. New Yorkers are not very smart sports fans. That's one of the biggest misconceptions out there. New Yorkers are actually some of the dumbest sports fans, because they're the idiots that get on a Jeremy Lin bandwagon thinking he's the next and the second coming and that Melo's the greatest. And I mean, there are so many examples. They try to tell you they're smart, but they do all the stupid things that all the other fan bases do. They're not any smarter than any other fan base. They're the same morons every other fan base has. Because they're just the same thing as fans. They get fanatical, they get prisoner of the moment bullshit, and that's where they get lost. This is a run, a hot run. You ride it until you can ride it. But let's not make it out more than what it really is. This is not a great team developing. Okay? That's not what's happening here. This is things are going your way. You're on a roll. Take advantage. That's it. Not a great conference right now, obviously, and you can take advantage of it. Now, if you beat the Nuggets, then all of a sudden that becomes maybe the greatest upset in South Florida sports history. Better than the Marlins over the Yankees and better than UM against Nebraska. Because that's a hell of a team that they're going to face. But right now, they haven't faced a team that's playing anywhere near what the Nuggets are playing like and have been playing all year long. That's all. So let's not get caught up in the moment where we make it bigger than what it really is. It's an incredibly fun run with a bunch of young cats that were undrafted and one star that has really, I think what I've been the most impressed is what I told Ira, his selflessness. That to me is just golden on Jimmy's part. And that he deserves a lot of the credit for their success, not just because he's a badass, but because he enjoys and wants to take part in the success of his teammates, which is, man, that's impressive. And I think it's because he comes from that part of his life where he had to earn everything himself too, because he was nothing more than a defensive role player. And then he had to start to prove himself. So he respects and knows what it's like to have to, grind your way up and build your career up like Gabe Vincent has had to do, like Caleb Martin's had to do, and Duncan and all these guys, So it's super impressive, man. Don't forget, by the way, to smash the hell out of the like button. Insanity, trying to expect a player who seems like a superstar and expect the player to produce every year. Yeah, like remember the Scrubbies? Yeah. Maybe they can win 50 games next year. No, they can't. They are what they are. If we keep shooting the way we are, we will beat the Nuggets. Fans. I guess he hasn't seen Jamal Murray shoot, and he hasn't watched the other guys shoot in Denver, right? Yeah. No, because it's only your team that shoots well. Denver's not shooting well. They have no skill set whatsoever. Yeah. Frankie says, come on, Big O, you still have to win. Look at the Dolphins. They've had 3 bumps and bruises, but they made the playoffs. We are happy. I'm not sure what your point is, Frankie. What's your point? I'm not sure what the point is there, bro. Acts like he's the only objective fan to walk on the earth. I am. Spo is like what Bum Phillips said about Shula. Exactly. He can take his in and beat yours in, and take yours in and beat his in. Exactly. Celtics would be up 3-0 with Spo. I'm enjoying the ride, LOL. Panthers look like they're going to go to the Cup, and the Heat are basically guaranteed to make the finals at this point. Yeah, the Heat are going to the finals. The Celtics, their heart's been cut out. There's no doubt about that. Griffin Gaming, thank you for the love on the super chat. Big O, would you say this is the greatest NBA playoff run ever? Could just be recency bias, but I think it is. Right now, you're using bias. They have to beat the Nuggets in order for it to be the greatest run ever. Okay? If they beat remember, the bubble run was just as good or better, actually, and you got to the finals, but you lost it. You have to win the finals. And, by the way, Denver's better than the Lakers. Not just this Lakers, the other Lakers team too from a few years ago. Denver is awesome. Okay? If Miami beats Denver, holy shit. It's one of the greatest upsets ever in NBA history. Like, I'd have to go back and look, but I guarantee you it'll be in the top 3. I don't know if you'll find a lot bigger upsets than that one if Miami can pull it off. Okay? Frankie, thank you for the love in the super chat. He says, all I know is this Heat talk is going, but my boy Barkov scored again on Saturday. Wayne Gretzky said one of the greatest goals in NHL history. I saw that. Barkey, the best thing that happened to Barkey was he got dogs around him. And that has put him in a really nice spot because he's kind of a passive person, an under-the-radar guy. He doesn't really want all the hype. And so now with Tkachuk and Verhaeghe and Bennett and Reinhardt and these cats, it's taken all that pressure off of him because all those guys are dogs. Let me tell you something. The Panthers, that's a bunch that's the real deal right there. That's the real deal right there. ESPN will pick the Celtics after the sweep on Tuesday. Too extreme. Big O, out of Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, which player of the two is a priority to sign back? Well, Gabe Vincent, because he's a ball handler. But I'd really like to keep both. I'd like to move Duncan and Tyler. I'd rather have those guys over those guys. Okay. Let's see. Man of 1,005 votes. All 5 of the Nuggets starters can shoot threes. I know, dude. It's just, fans are fans. My man of 1,005 votes. Oh, if we shoot this way, we'll win. Yeah, no, of course, because Denver, they're mediocre. They're nothing special. It's silliness. I do not watch Western Conference ball. Are the Nuggets that good? Oh, God. Drew Boo says Denver played great, but to say the Heat will lose to them because Denver is the greatest team to ever do it is silly. I don't think anybody's saying they're the greatest team to ever do it, but they're the best team in the NBA, and they're better than the Miami Heat. And Drew Boo, if you want, I'm at Hialeah Park on Thursday. You want to bring some money over? I mean, you're so confident that the Heat will win. You know, I'll be rooting for the Heat, but deep down inside, I know Denver is better and they should win. Now, if Nikola gets injured or Jamal Murray gets injured, he has a little injury history, then maybe that opens up the door for him. But if Denver's healthy, my money's on Denver, probably in 5 games, maybe 6, something like that. I'll give Miami some respect because they will play hard, but Denver is much more talented. I don't think anybody has said they're the greatest team to ever do it. That's a stupid statement right there, because I don't think I've heard anybody say that. But they're better than the Heat, and they're the best team in the league right now. So, if they beat Denver, automatic statues for Spo and Jimmy. Amen. 100-foot statues. Nico says, I'm with you, Big O. I'm done with Hero. He seems more interested in his image and attention than working on his overall game like Caleb. The problem is unloading Tyler, because, some of you apparently have a higher opinion of him, but I think others around the league will have the same opinion as me. Yeah, kid's got talent, but you're paying him a lot of money and he doesn't stay healthy, and that's the problem with Tyler. Too many injuries, bro. You are correct, Eddie. With Kachuk being young, whew, dog. That stuff is sweet. Knight, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, GI Heat, sitting on my hands waiting for OTA news. Don't forget, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Nuggets never accomplished anything. Yeah. That's usually how you start. You've never accomplished anything, and then eventually you win something. So the Golden State Warriors had not accomplished anything at one point there. They hadn't won since like the 1968 or 72 or some crap like that, or it was way back. I think 72 was actually the Knicks, but somewhere in the distant future, in the distant past, they had some success. The San Antonio Spurs, by the way, also at one point had never accomplished anything, too. Any more stupid statements out there? Because you haven't won means you never win. Okay. I guess the Panthers, they're not going to win. I guess this guy already says it. The Panthers have never accomplished anything, so why would they win the championship? So I guess the Panthers are done too, according to this guy's reasoning right there. Bergeron was back for Boston for their 3 straight L's. Brother, I love Ira to death, but Tyler Hero over Verhaeghe. He lost me there. That's all. He lost me. That's as homer as a pick as it gets, because you got to walk into that locker room or something. Is he worried that somebody from the Heat's going to tell him, so you pick Carter Verhaeghe over Tyler? Or what? Are they going to go tell Tyler that he picked Carter Verhaeghe over Tyler? I would have gone, yeah. See, he's a 40-goal scorer, and he plays in the playoffs. How about you, Tyler? Do you show up? Oh, no, you don't. Come on, dude. No one in their right minds. Well, those of you that don't follow hockey, then I can get it. But he follows hockey. He knows hockey very well. Okay? No one with their head screwed on right says Tyler Hero's better than Carter Verhaeghe. No one. It's impossible. Carter Verhaeghe's a badass, dude. He has more dog in him than Barkov does. by the way, Frankie, or who was it that brought that up on the go? Okay? Because Carter Verhaeghe proved last year he was the only one that had dog in him. Big O, this will come off asinine, but if Jimmy Butler wins the championship this year, I think he's had a more successful Heat career run than Wade has had until the Big Three. I understand what you're saying, right? Because he would end up winning the title with less. He has no other star. No matter what you want to tell me about Bam, go sell that bullshit somewhere else, please. He's a super role player. He's not a star. Okay? Just that, again, ask yourselves this. When Jimmy Butler is struggling, does Bam take over offensively and start scoring 30 points? No, because he can't. Because does he shoot from threes? No. Do they double him offensively so he could get rid of the ball like they'll do to Jimmy, like they'll do to Wade, like they'll do to Zoe, like they'll do to Timmy, like they'll do to Shaq, like they'll do to LeBron, like they'll do to Bosh, like real superstars? Do they double Bam to get rid of the ball because he's such a scoring force? No. So you are correct, sir. If Jimmy wins the championship, it would be the greatest championship considering that he won it with less than anyone else in Heat history because there's only one star on the team. His name is Jimmy Butler. There are no other stars on the team. No matter what bullshit the Heat, writers that cover the Heat, or anybody else wants to tell you about Bam, he's not a star, okay? He's a super role player. He's a magnificent, beautiful, multifaceted player. Not a star. Cannot carry you offensively, okay? You know what I'd love? In the splits, Sean, is there any way to figure out what Bam's stats are in the games that Jimmy missed? I would be very intrigued to know exactly the stats for Bam Adebayo. What did he average in games that Jimmy missed? I would love to know his average stat line on all the games that Jimmy missed. Because stars, carry you when the other star is gone, right? If you're a star, be very interesting. I don't even know how to find that.
All right, this is from StatMuse.
Oh, you have it already?
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, go ahead.
He averaged 22.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists in 15 games without Butler this season.
And record?
That I don't know. Hold on.
22 points is pretty good.
Let's see. Doesn't have wins and losses. Hold on a minute.
Damn it. I think they did well without Butler, like around 500 or just over. If I remember correctly, they weren't terrible without Butler. They weren't great, but they weren't terrible. 22 is not bad. Not star-like, but not bad. And by the way, that'll lead me to LeBron very soon, because I was going to talk about LeBron in the same sense. Knight, thank you for the love on the super chat. Let's say Miami wins the Super Bowl. Which statue do you build, Tua or McDaniels? Just a fun thought. None. Too early. But thank you, Knight. Frankie Fresco, if Jimmy wins Mount Rushmore for Miami, 1 Wade, 2 Jimmy, 3 Zoe. I don't consider LeBron because I don't put LeBron there. It's too short of time. UD, you got to put in there too, bro. We got to put UD in there. I know he's not the superstar that those guys were, but he's like the super glue star, kind of like Bam.
Okay.
Super glue star. Yes.
They were 9-9 without Butler, but Also, Adebayo missed 3 of those games too. So they're
Yeah,
without.
no, I
Butler
know
and
they were. I know
Westbrook.
we weren't terrible. I remember that. I remember we weren't terrible without Butler, but yeah, 500.
It looks like they're about
And
500.
so, and let me tell you, 22 points is not bad, not great, not star, because you got to lift them up to victories. You see, and that's what I'm saying. So it reminds me of what's going on with LeBron. And LeBron, game 1, 40 minutes, 26 points. 40 minutes, game 2, 22 points. Game 3, 43 minutes, 23 points. It's not enough, bro. It's not enough. Your team's not good enough. I know LeBron's old already at this point, but in game 1, AD had 40 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks. That's a superstar game. LeBron had 26 points. Now, he had 12 rebounds, 9 assists, and a block, which is phenomenal for any player. For him, that's awesome. But the 26 points is not. And in a game where AD played like a superstar, you lost. Problem is, LeBron can't play like a superstar anymore. LeBron now plays like an all-star now. You know what I mean? Now he scores like an all-star, but he doesn't score like a superstar. He doesn't carry a team anymore. 26, 22, and 23. Got to do more, man. Your team's not that good. And him and AD have to come up with like 90 points, 85 points, 80 points. You see what the 4 young cats did yesterday? What was it? 79 points, right? With Gabe, Strus, Martin, and Duncan. 79 points with those guys. They played like one superstar. Well, 2 superstars, but you know what I'm saying. But it's just crazy, man. And this is what LeBron has to do. LeBron has to play it like AD played in game 1 for them to win. And what Jimmy is doing without that next star next to him is absolutely amazing. Because there are no stars. Caleb's the one guy that has that chance. He's not a star, not even close. Nobody's close to being a star. But Caleb is the one guy that has that opportunity. That one guy. And by the way, let's get into who was the MVP last night with our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
One's pretty easy, and I know most of you are going to think, well, of course he's going to pick, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is going to be your Cutter's Edge MVP. Nope. Jimmy Butler had a nice game, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. But I'm going to go with Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, and Caleb Martin. Led by Gabe Vincent, who had 29 points along with 3 assists, a block, and a steal. Strus added 10 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. Duncan Robinson added 22 points on 5 of 7 shooting from three-point range. Gabe Vincent, by the way, was 6 of 9. Robinson also added 4 assists and 2 rebounds in the game. And then Caleb Martin, 18 points on 4 of 7 shooting from three-point range. He had 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and a steal. Those 4 young men combined for 79 points. They played like a superstar and a half next to Jimmy Butler. This is a game where Butler only scored 16 points. By the way, Bam scored 13 points on 4 of 5 shooting. That's it. A couple really nice highlight dunks. The Jaylen Brown one was nice when he spun and Jaylen lost his footing and fell on his ass. That was actually funny. I like that one. I enjoyed that one, I got to say. That was good. But Butler wasn't a star last night. Bam didn't have a great game last night. He was solid. Those four guys combined to play like, a rabid superstar. It's pretty awesome last night. Those four guys have grown up here. A magnificent job by the coaching staff to develop these guys, and to see them perform at this kind of a level in the Eastern Conference playoffs. It's pretty studly. And if you call my friends William and Mike for your home, your business, your condo association, Cutter's Edge Pro, you want the kind of excellence you saw from that foursome, you're going to get it from Cutter's Edge Pro every single day. Go to their Instagram page so you can see a lot of the work that they've done. They do an exceptional job. And by the way, artificial turf is a blessing. I'm telling you, our dogs love the artificial turf. 954-472-0622. That's 954-472-0622 for CuttersEdgePro.com.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
There we go. Good stuff as always. Appreciate all of you out there. Let's see. Bam Adebayo is 8-7 without Jimmy this season. Yeah, not impressive. He's not a star, man. He's a hell of a super role player is what he is. I give him credit because he is a super role player. But the idea of star, that's silly. Big O, I smell Super Bowl bound fins. I hope so too, man. Eddie, Caleb is in his fourth season, 8 points per game, no chance. You're measuring a 4-year. What kind of stupid shit is that, Eddie? You're measuring his 4-year average. So you're counting from the second he came in. That's part of the growth process. Wouldn't you go for his final season like this year? Okay. This year it's 9.6, not 8, Eddie. So he's raised his level of play. What's wrong with you, bro? Jesus Christ. Can't even give the guy credit for playoffs. Anyway, what is he averaging in the playoffs, by the way? That would be interesting. He's actually doing a nice job in the playoffs. But he has raised his average here in Miami. And he's the one guy. If anybody's going to be a star out of all these young guys, it'll be that kid right there. And by the way, you can go look. I don't think Jimmy Butler was a star in his first 4 years either, right? It took him a little while to kind of build up to being a star. Yes, sir.
13.5, 6 rebounds, 2.3 assists.
Where? Butler?
Martin.
Oh, this year? Oh, in the playoffs, you mean?
Yeah.
What is it? What is it again? What is it?
Hold on. I think this was done. Hold on a minute. It's better than that. Well, it's at 12.6, 4.9 rebounds, 1.8 assists.
There you go. There you go.
Shooting 56% from the field.
I think that's pretty good. I'm not sure. Not sure. Let's see. What else do we have? LeBron has played 1 billion NBA games, counting all his playoff runs. So not only is he old, but he has more wear and tear than anybody in NBA history, just like Kareem at the end. Yep. But the truth is, for his team to win, he can't play like an all-star. He has to play like a superstar, and he can't play like a superstar anymore. It shows. That's why I was writing down the stats, because I don't think a lot of people realize that he's just averaging 23 points a game, dude. And I know 23 points a game is good for normal people, but he's not normal. He's the cyborg. That's how crazy it is that LeBron has to be like super special. And right now, because of what you just talked about, the wear and tear on his career, you know. By the way, Eddie, it took Jimmy. He averaged 2.6 points his first year, 8.6 his second, 13.1 his third, and then he got to 20 in his fourth year. And he's a first-round pick, late first-round pick. So it took him a while also to pick it up, even as a first-round pick, and then the rest is history after that. So let's give Caleb a little time. Maybe in another year or two, he's got a chance at being even better. But he's the one guy I would give the chance of. If any of them are going to develop into a star, it would be him. Outside of that, I don't. If not, he'll be a role player like everybody else for the rest of their careers. Whatever kind of role, more important, less important, or whatever. But Caleb is the one guy that I think has a chance out of those undrafted guys to really become something. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next year or two under him. And if you move some of these guys, his responsibilities also may grow too as time goes on. All right, let's get ready. Hour number 2, Marcel Louis-Jacques from ESPN joins us for our Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins and NFL report.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welt and Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welt and Rheaume, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welt and Rheaume can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welt and Rheaume can help. Call 954-966-4646. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins report with Marcel Louis-Jacques is in session.
Welt and Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Marcel Louis-Jacques.
By the way, before I continue with Marcel, a lot of you out there are fucking stupid as shit. like you're really ignorant. Okay. Now, understand what I'm saying about Caleb Martin. I say he has the skill set to be a star. I didn't say he's a star. I didn't say he's playing like a star right now. I'm not saying he's going to be a star or anything like that, because I know 5 months from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, one of you morons will say, oh, you said he was a star. Never said he was a star. Just said he has the skill set. He has the moxie that he could be the one guy out of this entire group. If anybody's going to develop into a star, it'll be Caleb Martin. It will not be Tyler Hero. It's not Bam Adebayo, and it's not Gabe Vincent. Caleb Martin, in my eyes, is the only guy that has a chance to really be a star. Will he be? I have no idea. We'll see. But he does have the skill set, and he plays on both sides of the court. So that's why I say it. Okay? Not saying that he is. Understand English. Some of you are too freaking stupid to understand English. Marcel, good morning. How are you doing, sir?
I'm great. I'm great. You know,
you got to straighten, because some of these people they get a little crazy, and then they don't listen to what actually people are saying, and then they go running and, oh, you said this. Nope, never said that, idiot. You didn't listen. So anyway, are you enjoying the basketball or hockey at all? What are you doing? While you're here in Miami, are you on the bandwagon at least?
Yeah, man. Look, I wanted to try to maybe sneak and find a couple of cheap tickets for last night's game. I started looking right after tip-off just to see how far they would drop. Man, the cheapest ticket I could find was $879 in the 400s or whatever, the top.
Have you ever been to a hockey game?
See, now Haley is coming into town tomorrow. We plan on going to game 3 or game 4 on Wednesday.
I knew she was the smarter one out of you.
Way more reasonable. Don't make me get up and go get my Panthers sweater, man. Like, hold on a second. Respect me a little bit here. I watched. Okay, a
little bit. That doesn't mean I'm not going to give Haley more credit than you. That's fine.
I watched the game the other night. Perfect execution on the power play. Beautiful assist to set up Kachuk there. I don't know very much about hockey, but I know a beautiful assist when I see one, and that was it. So yeah, I think I need some advice. I need some advice with the hockey game, because
assist on Haley. Who introduced you to Haley? Who gets the assist?
You didn't introduce me to Haley.
I did. I'm not asking me.
I was like, hey, we're not gonna sit here and cap.
Who introduced you to your better half here? Who?
Oh, I did. She did. So there are conflicting reports depending on who you ask. She will say that I hopped into her DMs. I will say that she responded to a photo of an arepa that I put on Twitter and asked, where can I get one of these? And so then I DM'd her and said, like, this is where it is. Also, welcome to Miami. We conversed from there and hung out a couple days later. And, the rest is history. So did I go into her DM? Technically, yes. I will forever say I was invited. I'll forever believe I was invited.
It doesn't work at ESPN, so you're good. You're good. You're good.
I will forever believe that I was invited.
If you were sliding into DMs of a coworker, now we got some problems. See, you wouldn't be telling that story if she was a coworker.
No, we would I would make something else up. But then no. This was clean. This was fine. But I will say though,
my point is, by the way, you will not be spending a fortune, because there are some tickets. There's a couple tickets left, I heard, for hockey. It's not completely sold out yet. So actually, you won't pay an arm and a leg, and you'll enjoy a great experience. Hockey Live is freaking awesome, dude.
No, this is what I was saying. So the only time I've been to FLA Live, we sat in the lower bowl. Actually, I've been to 2 hockey games as an adult, and I've sat lower bowl both times. And tell me if I'm off base here. I think I would rather sit up high because I feel like I can only see directly in front of me through the glass, and it's all distorted when they go the other way. So they score, and I'm just waiting on the reaction, and I have no idea what's happening. I feel like in the upper decks, I'll at least be able to see. I can't see the puck, but I can't see the puck on TV either. So, like,
you can see the puck, but I get what you're saying. You get to see the play develop and all that stuff a little higher up. I get what you're saying. I kind of love rink level because, you know, the physicality and you kind of feel the game a little bit more when you're in the lower bowl, especially when you're up against the glass. Those are the best seats in the house, up against the glass. But I get what you're saying. A little higher up where you get to see the play develop and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So like we can get like third level ticket. I'm not paying no $300 for each for lower bowl seats. Like I would honestly, I'd rather watch the game on TV, with all respect to the Panthers. But 150, like I can get 300 level for like 140 to 170, give or take, right now. I just need to know, is that outrageous? Is that totally absurd? Or is that like the playoff tax coming into play?
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Yeah.
I just need to pull the trigger because it's that, and then of course got to deal with parking and all that too. But like,
park in the mall.
For the
hockey games, you park in the mall. For the basketball games, maybe you take the Metro Rail.
Honestly, I live so damn close to the Heat Arena. Whenever I go to games, I usually walk.
Can't you go on the Metro Rail from where you are at?
Technically, yeah. I feel like walking would be almost the same amount of time. It depends on the weather.
Wow,
but,
that's nice.
Yeah, I would take like the school board, hop on at the school board station, and then get off. I don't even know where I would get off, but I would rather just walk. I've never actually taken the light rail here. I would rather walk or Uber.
Well, the Metro Mover will leave you right there if you can, because I know you live down in that area, so that's actually very convenient, and you'll save yourself a boatload of money for parking.
Yeah, I mean, I saw something on Bayside yesterday. It was like $100 flat rate to park. Crazy. Like crazy, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you're better off in your case. You're golden, dude. You live right in the area, so taking the Metro Mover is actually the winning move for you to go to a Heat game. And then in the Panthers, you just park in the mall. So screw that. You save yourself some money there too at the same time. All right, OTAs. I saw the Wolfmeister tweeted out that Van Ginkel is being moved inside. I'm wondering if he'll bring back the pads he used to wear in Wisconsin. Did you ever see his pictures in Wisconsin?
No.
Like he got these big ass pads. I don't know if you can pull up, Sean, if you could find an Andrew Van Ginkel Wisconsin big pad picture. But I'm wondering if he's going to the middle, does he bring back the bigger shoulder pads that he used to have in Wisconsin? But your thoughts on moving him inside?
I mean, they're not thin outside. They have players that are going to be prioritized at edge rusher beyond him. He might not get as many snaps. They are kind of unproven and thin at inside backer. Jerome Baker is back. Obviously, they signed David Long as well. They're waiting for Channing Tindall to kind of click and for the light to turn on there. But this might be either one. This might be the best way for him to get meaningful snaps, Van Ginkel. Or two, this could be them developing a hybrid linebacker who can play on the edge and play inside. It helps alleviate what's kind of a lack of depth still at the linebacker position. I'm looking forward to seeing it. This was new. Shout out to Cam for the report. It's not something I think we had been told or seen. I guess we haven't even seen practice since January. So when would we have seen it? But I'm looking forward to checking it out. It's kind of hard to judge it now. You gotta this is where he's going to be able to develop his instincts. I see with the big blades, This is where he'll be able to develop his instincts, but obviously there's no thud because they're not wearing shells. It's the T-shirt and short Olympics.
Yeah. So it's funny because I remember he used to wear the big pads in Wisconsin. So, and I wonder, one of the things I like about Van Ginkel, he has that knack of being around the football. So if somehow or another he can make his way to playing middle linebacker, I don't know how he fits there. That's the one thing, because he kind of really looks to me like more of an outside guy than an inside guy. But I know he's not afraid to get his himself dirty a little bit playing inside.
I think it's a testament to how this team feels about his football IQ, that they feel like, okay, like instead of which edge rusher, I don't want to say it's the easiest position on the field, but like you have really you got two tasks as an edge rusher, right? Go get the quarterback or contain the quarterback. This is a testament to his football IQ, saying, okay, we trust you in run support there in the middle of the field. We're going to trust you to drop back in pass coverage as well. Like I'm excited to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I like Van Ginkel. I think he's one of the more unheralded players on this roster. He's not, doesn't put up the eye-popping, crazy stats, but he's very fast off the edge. He's a good depth player. He's a good rotational edge rusher. It was a good move, I think, to bring him back for another. I think he signed a 2-year. It was a good idea to bring him back this offseason. And he's one of those integral, like him and Sealer, although I think Sealer's a better player and more critical of a role in this defense. But they're two of those players that, like, you don't really want to let them hit free agency. They might not be household names, but you don't want to let them out the building.
Do we know, or do you know anything about some of the injured guys from last year, Needham and Trill and Brandon Jones and some of these cats that obviously are coming back from injuries, where they stand and what kind of participation are we expecting from them so far? Where are they in their rehab process as they get ready for this upcoming season?
Well, Trill's ACL tear was about 9 months ago. Would expect to see, maybe not. I don't think he's ready for teamwork right now. I don't think he's ready to be a full participant. I would expect to see him off to the side. Brandon Jones was running laps around the field in December. So I would expect Brandon Jones to be ready at some point this spring or summer. Nick Needham, on the other hand, Achilles tears. I know Cam Akers came back, relatively fast. I think Amari Rogers came back pretty fast. It was an ACL. So Cam Akers came back pretty fast. Those are usually 10 to 11 months. He's not in that frame yet. I wouldn't expect to see Nick Needham yet. This is a prime opportunity, I think, for Kader Kohou and Cam Smith to kind of duke it out for that nickel back role until Needham is back. If we do see him, I think it would be an impressive feat and a testament to his rehab and his hard work. Because he tore his Achilles in, I believe it was October. Mm-hmm. So that's 7 months ago, give or take 7 months ago. He's still about, based on the average recovery time, he's still a couple months away, I think, from really being able to fully participate. But we'll find out tomorrow when we talk to Mike for sure.
Yeah, and Austin Jackson, I think, and who's the other injured guys that we're looking at to see where they're at this point? Because I think that's kind of one of the things. I'm sure you guys are going to want to look at formation on defense for Fangio and who's lining up where, how he sees it right now, and those kind of things. But I think the other storyline is, where are some of these injured guys? Because obviously, Eichenberg and Jackson, and then those secondary guys are incredibly important to the either starting or the depth for this team.
Yeah, no, I think Jackson, we haven't heard anything about him not being ready to play. Same with Liam. Emmanuel Agba should be cleared to go.
Yeah.
Who else are we forgetting here? I would expect Teron Armstead to be there as well. I still feel like there's one we're forgetting.
I think Teron Armstead will be wearing shades, looking cool, hanging out on the sidelines.
Yeah, like, I mean, they're not going to go, you know, he's not going to, just like last year, he wasn't like a full participant. I know he's still coming back from like a knee injury, but
is he the coolest dude on the team?
He's 10 years in.
Is he like the coolest dude on the team?
He's a cool dude. I'll give him that.
Right?
Give him that.
Like, I know Tyreek is fun, so it's a different kind of thing we're talking about. I don't think that's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about Teron Armstead is like cool and smooth. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Just like at least when we are around, he's one of those guys that doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And there's something to be said about that, like the even keeledness.
And there's a confidence, and there's a smile, and there's a swag, and then he just looks cool. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you, he's got coolness all over him. He's like, to me, he's the coolest guy on the team, actually.
I think he's a cool dude.
He's like the guy that knows how to handle everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like, nothing phases him ever, bro. Like
he's a grown up. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't any others in the locker room, but like it's a very mature, grown presence about him. So like it's good for the locker room. It's definitely good for the locker room. I still don't expect him to be, to be a full participant. So that's and that's where things might get interesting. This
I don't want him to be a full participant, bro.
This is where things might get interesting, because somebody's got to play left tackle if Teron isn't. And so how is that going to warp, the position battle at right tackle? Like if they're using Isaiah Wynn at left, or, maybe the third guy out from the three who are competing at right tackle, maybe the third guy out kicks the left tackle. That's kind of how I feel like it should be. But I would expect both Ogwehi and Wynn to get work at left tackle. If
you bring up a great point. You bring up a great point. That is something to watch throughout this mini camp into training camp in the preseason. Who's playing left tackle outside of Teron Armstead, to see who's going to be the main backup to Teron, because unfortunately, Teron is going to miss a game or two or three, and you're going to need that person, whoever is being groomed. That person will play this year. I hope not, but unfortunately, it's kind of been the MO with Teron.
Yeah, and again, testament. That's favorite word this segment, but it's a testament to Armstead's impact when he is on the field and off the field. That they had no problem giving him that money, knowing he's probably going to miss time. He was hurt in the literal first game of the season last year, and he soldiered through the rest of the year. But even if he doesn't play 3 games, he misses 3-4 games, the 12 that you are getting a top 3 to 5 left tackle in the NFL. Like he is that good. So but again, like his injury, his history is his history at that point. I don't like to speculate that players will be hurt, but his history, he's missed, I think it's 9 of his 10 seasons, he's missed at least 3 games in each of them. So history will tell you that you need to have a viable backup plan, and I think the Dolphins did that this offseason.
And the other thing that I'm going to be intrigued on when I go to practices is I want to see how they're working these tight ends, because you've got getting Higgy with it and Tanner Connor with that outside off the line tight end battle, and then you've got the inline battle with obviously Salbert and Croft and the incumbent, of course, the veteran Smythe. So I'm really interested to see how McDaniel is working it, because he doesn't have his ideal tight end. He doesn't have the one guy that's a monster blocker and a monster pass receiver like he had in San Francisco. And they tried to even get Waller and all that. So they wanted a guy like that. They haven't been able to find it. So now they've got like 2 kinds of tight ends on the team. It'll be interesting to see how he weaves that tight end into the offense.
Man, what would have to happen? What would have to happen for Brock Bowers to fall into the Dolphins' range in this draft? I think about it. I've thought about that a lot, like ever since the college football season ended. Like, damn, man, if there was a way somehow for Brock Bowers to end up in this offense, I think it would be a perfect offense. Like, I think they would be perfect. I'd have no notes. I have no complaints. But that guy's going to go top 10 next year. Like, the only way is for
But I'm hoping the Dolphins can go to the Super Bowl. So
there's the trade-off.
Yeah, screw the top 10. Okay. So
but damn, Brock Bowers would be perfect in this offense, man. It'd be perfect. That's the George Kittle that Mike McDaniel has been looking for.
Mike McDaniel wants a two-way guy, but man, it's gonna be hard.
I would love to see, I just for the personal enjoyment of the story itself, I would love to see Tanner Conner really take that next step this year. He was so electric last year in team drills during the summer. Right. And it just didn't translate in game. Like it didn't.
I like getting Higgy with it.
It was that's the interesting.
Way, did you see the conversation with Terrell Owens that he had?
No.
You should look it up on YouTube. Higgins and Terrell Owens interview. The Higgins kid, I love his maturity, bro. I love his intelligence. Obviously, he went to Stanford, so he's smarter than I am, or smarter than I ever will be. But you just the way he carries himself, really like him, man. That kid, and I saw his highlight reel and watched some of his stuff there at Stanford. That's going to be let me tell you something. Our boy Tanner Conner is in for a world of competition with that guy.
Yeah, no, it's going to be. I tweeted out a thread of just things that I'm looking for, the next couple of weeks. We only get to see a handful of these, but the battle of the converted tight ends was one of them. I want to see Higgins versus Conner. Conner, like, they value Tanner Conner enough that he was on the roster as a undrafted converted guy last year. As like a fourth tight, like he was on the 53. Like, it wasn't a practice squad guy.
Greer said he got calls that people were actually asking for him, and so they knew if they put him on the practice squad, he was gone. So they didn't want to do that.
So like, I'm not
they
ready
must
to say
love him to hang on to him that long.
Yeah, that's why I'm not ready to say, oh, Higgins is a draft pick, like he's automatically got the leg up. They value Tanner Conner a lot. He showed real promise last year as just a big play receiving threat. Just need to see him stay healthy and need to see him as a inline blocker before we speculate any further on where he's going to be. But as a receiver, like, the guy was a big play waiting to happen. He and Skyler tore up, scout and practice team.
It's just that get Higgy with it is he's more polished. And that's where I feel for Tanner Conner, because Tanner Conner, you can tell, is still kind of green, whereas this dude, I get a feeling this dude's going to make a quicker transition to the NFL than what people expect. I just that when you move the way he moves and you're as smart as he is, I really like your chances. So it's going to be. I'm really intrigued with that battle.
Tight end is already it's the hardest position to go from college to the NFL. It's the hardest position there. So to do that and have to be learning the position as you go, it's right. Understandable why these are probably multiple year projects each. I don't think, and I could be surprised, and that I would be ecstatic for him if this is the case. But I would be surprised if Higgins comes in and is ready to be an impact player right off the top.
From what I saw in the highlights and the way he runs routes, I'm opposite of you. I'm not going to be surprised if he actually makes a transition. That's how impressed I am with that young man. Really like him. I was like, wow, this is – I saw it and I go, wow, this guy lasted all the way till then. Interesting. I know he had a couple of drops, but outside of that, I really like what I see from that player, man. Really do, man. You should watch the interview with him and T.O., man.
Yeah, check it out. As soon as we get off this, I'll go check it out.
Love his vibe, bro. Love his vibe. All right, what do you got going on ESPN so Dolphins can check you out, man?
Oh, this is it. It is OTAs, man. Like, whatever we see, whatever pops up and stands out on Tuesday, be writing about it almost, as soon as possible, as soon as we can get it out here at ESPN. We've got real football again. We've got real quantifiable things to pick apart, not just speculation. I mean, it's going to be still some speculation, but at least, it's something on the field that we can draw off of. So I think that's going to be exciting. Get to talk to Mike again for the first time in maybe a month or two since the draft, so about a month. But I think it'll be refreshing. This time of year always is. It's just like that little taste, little sprinkle of football before the long break from end of June to end of July, and we have really nothing to talk about. This is that last little bit. So enjoy it, Dolphins fans. Like we are almost there, 4 months away from kickoff, man. Less than that, a little less than 4 months away from kickoff. It's incredible.
I'm with you. Follow him on Twitter, Marcel_LJ. Marcel, as always, appreciate you. We'll catch up later on in the week, my friend, and we'll get a recap of what you saw this week. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Peace.
You got it. Marcel Louis-Jacques, baby. Welton Rayom, bankruptcy, personal injury, commercial litigation, condo damage, criminal defense, bankruptcy. They will take care of you. Homeowner property damage. Don't deal with those insurance companies. They just want to give you the runaround. They're not going to take care of you. Call the people at Welton Rayom. Free consultation. Call Jeff Welt right now. Daniel Rayom and Jeff Welt. Welton Rayom, 954-966-4646. Ask for Jeff. Tell him that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you, man. Great people. They took care of us. They crushed Progressive Insurance for us. Progressive was screwing us over. And these guys said, nah. So don't make the mistake we did, because, I had to, the wife goes, no, I'll call him. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. And then when she was all frustrated because I said, you see, I told you, you got to call the lawyers first. So don't be stupid. Don't do the mistakes we did. Don't be dumb like we are. Okay. We were dumb. Sorry, honey. I love you. But we were dumb. And the wife, because, she thinks she can take care of everything. And sure enough, the lawyers know the laws. You and I don't. That's what I was trying to explain to my wife. And Jeff and Dan crushed their asses. They got one of the people fired from Progressive. That's how much they kicked their ass. Okay? It's like Spo out coaching all these fools. Same. That's what Welton Rayom do. They just out-coach these fools. That's what it is. And then they get the money for you. So call them 954-966-4646, wherever you're at in Florida. Free consultation. You don't even have to visit the offices if you don't want to, man, except maybe to pick up a check. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with Marcel Louis-Jacques. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Love it. This is awesome. John Wayne's 45 goes, Big O Boston fan here. Heat better watch out. Celtics just warming up. You Heat fans better watch out. Game 4 in 2026. Nice job, John Wayne. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. And Griffin Gaming, thank you for the love on the super chat. Not that any of us should care, but ESPN is still giving Boston a 72% chance to win. No, they're not. No, they're not. There's no way they put a 72% chance being down 0-3. There's no way. You're joking, dude. You better rewind, take a screenshot of that, and send it to me, because there's no way I believe that. I mean, last night when they were favored by 3.5, I took the Heat. I've won all 3 games because I keep taking the Heat. No way. That's hilarious. Griffin, thank you. Don't forget, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Let's go. Let's talk a little Panthers and Dolphins with Alan Poupart, baby. Let's do it. Our EJDconstruction.com, Miami Dolphins and Florida Panthers report.
Dolphins fans, time to get insight on your favorite team with your favorite reporter with an Expos hat. Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
All righty, there he is. He's on the ice, Montreal and all. There you are. Everybody good? Everybody healthy? Everybody on the ice? Everybody working out?
The Panthers had an optional morning skate. Not everybody was on the ice, but the assumption is everybody's good to go.
Okay, all right. That's that is amazing. And Bob, dude. First of all, let's talk about Bob, because obviously the contract has been a thorn in the side, has been a point of reference for all of us, and bitterness and all that. And not that he's, living up to the responsibility of the contract, whatever. But he is playing like the goalie that we all wanted him to play, like the guy we saw in Columbus a few years ago. We're like, yeah, that's the guy. And that guy has shown up, dude.
Big time. No, he's playing like the guy. That's the guy we signed. That's the guy we gave the big money to, regardless of what you want to say about the contract itself. And it's still kind of dubious. But you signed him to be a difference maker. And holy shit, has he been a difference maker in these playoffs, especially lately. There's a reason the Panthers keep winning in overtime. And a big part of it is they got clutch players up front. And they also got Bob making saves. He had one save against Teravainen in the second period Friday night that was just completely ridiculous.
Yeah. The pad save that he had, that's you're talking about? Was it the pad save?
It was a blocker save.
Yeah,
on a pass across the ice. It was
holy
thing of beauty.
God, that thing was just absolutely amazing. And then, we talked about this, and I know people were like going crazy when I said you got to trade Huberdeau and you got to go get yourself a star. You got to get a son of a bitch. And, the best part about getting a son of a bitch, and we're watching with the Heat, when you get the son of a bitch, it trickles down to everybody else. And all of a sudden now, Verhaeghe showed you he was a dog last year, because he was the one that really stepped up. Between Huberdeau, Barkov, and Verhaeghe, it was Verhaeghe that was stepping up. But you see Bennett and Reinhardt and Duclair and who else am I forgetting? Montour and and it starts all with Tkachuk. And Barkov too has played really well. That he had a big boy goal here in this last game, dude. But for Tkachuk to be throwing himself on the ice to block a shot, your best player to do that, and then to get the game winner on both of these games here, I don't know what more to say about what Matthew Tkachuk has meant to this entire franchise.
No, and to me, the way to sum it up, he's one of 3 finalists for the Hart Trophy, which is the NHL MVP for the regular season, and very, very, very deservedly so. And here's the point I want to make too, though, because I see this with Jimmy Butler also, and this idea of like they're dogs and they're bringing in all that, and I'm totally on board with that. But can we please not forget the fact that they're not just dogs.
They're great players.
These guys are complete studs.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's got like a fabulous mid-range game where basically
Jason Tatum is a talent. But does he have the dog that Tkachuk and have? That's the difference. And I think that's why we're more impressed with that, because we've seen James Harden. We know that the Lord gave him an incredible ability to handle the ball and shoot and all that. But, bro, are you a dog? No, you're not. And so I think that's why we talk so much about the dog, because it's really the dog that makes the difference in the talent. Whatever you are, if you're a role player that's a dog,
You're better than a normal role player. If you're a superstar, which is what we kept talking about with Barkov and Hubie, like, bro, these are two passive guys. They're not. They don't like to be in the spotlight. They don't like to be agitators. They don't like to be, raw guys, rattle cages, all that. Matthew Tkachuk, Jimmy Butler, they fit all of that, and I think that's why we do that. Marino, the same thing. We love that attitude that comes with the player. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why we elaborate and we lean on that dog stuff so much.
And yeah, that's all fine and dandy. But what I'm saying is sometimes we tend to like overlook the fact, like Jimmy Butler is just a great mid-range shooter. Yes. And he's a dog. Matthew Tkachuk, I don't know if you noticed this, on his game-winning goal Friday night, not only did he find himself in the right place, but on his way to the net, he blocked the stick of a defenseman to prevent him from reaching out to his right to block the pass from Bennett to Reinhart. I mean, that's very high hockey IQ. And the guy's got phenomenal hands. So on top of that...
Hey, dude, the dive, he anticipated where the play was going. Right. So he threw his body there. I mean...
No, he's got both. And Jimmy Butler has both also. They're both high-quality dogs.
Yeah. But I think it's, Alonzo Mourning was like that. It's just, I think we as fans, Michael Jordan was freaking ruthless.
Kobe,
you know what
Kobe
I mean?
is the same kind of guy.
Yeah, Larry Bird, same thing. I just think these are things that we gravitate to because we know that, okay, you're talented. But then when you see what you're willing to do to win, that's the kind of shit that just and that's why I tweeted out, if any South Florida fan is wondering, I want to get a new jersey from one of the teams. Which one should I get? Matthew Tkachuk is definitely one of those that you should be thinking of because, man, that is how you want to be represented. And then, by the way, the Matthew Tkachuk effect, I think, has been very positive for Barkov more than anybody else because it's really allowed Barkov to be Barkov. And then all these other guys, the Bennetts and the Reinhart and the Duclairs and the Montours and the Verhaeghes, they get to go and be the kennel. They all get to be the dogs around, the stud of Barkov. And Barkov obviously does all the dirty stuff, winning the face-offs, obviously scoring goals and setting people up. But it kind of takes that spotlight away from him. And all these other guys get to do a lot of that dirty stuff and really, elevate the team.
No, and that's a fair point. And Barkov's always been a great two-way player, even in the playoffs. What has been missing is the ability to carry a series, and maybe they'll never have, but he doesn't have to carry a series right now. And part of it is because they're getting a lot of complimentary stuff. You want to talk about dogs, not on the level of Tkachuk in terms of ability. Sam Bennett is a dog too.
Yeah, man.
He is one of those. He is a badass. And then Montour's a guy who's like might as well run marathons. I was making the point today, just when a fellow writer here, he played like 55 minutes the other night, and the dude's, I've never seen him come to the bench where he's even remotely sucking wind. And you see guys come to the bench, I mean, they've just skated hard, so they're a little bit winded and all that. This dude is like, conditioning's amazing, and he's a high-end, highly skilled player. So.
Yeah, Listerine, Lundell. They got some guys, man. They got guys all over that team.
Yeah.
Can you explain? Because like the Heat and the Panthers, it's hard to explain this shit too, bro. That's the other.
It's not. It's not hard to explain at all. I will do it very quickly. Want me to do it very quickly?
Please.
Number one, I would make the argument that the Heat massively underachieved in the regular season. That this is more of the type of Heat team that there was, and that there is such a thing as regular season Jimmy and playoff Jimmy. That's for the Heat. For the Panthers, this is just further proof, and part of why the Stanley Cup playoffs are the best playoffs by far is the margin between their losing. I mean, if Pittsburgh doesn't shit the bed late in the regular season against Chicago, which was basically playing to get the most lottery chances, Panthers don't even make the playoffs. if Brad Marchand scores in the final seconds of Game 5 in Boston, Panthers are done 3 weeks ago. The margin in the NHL is microscopic. And then the Panthers were, and Paul Maurice made that point. You get into the playoffs in the NHL with 16 teams, pretty much all those 16 teams, the difference between top and bottom is really not that great. So it comes down to who's willing to pay the price, who's got some injury luck, puck bounces the right way, hot goaltender, and then the Panthers have gotten all of that.
Yeah. The difference between this and 96, we got scores now, bro. We got scores now. Back in the day, you were hoping to get one goal, and then bees are on his head, and you're hoping to keep everybody out and win a 1-0, 2-1 game maybe at best. You knew if it got to 3-4 goals, we were done in those days. Nowadays, that's the difference, dude. They can get dirty, they can stop you, and they can score. And by the way, what you're telling me too is that this is not just a run here at the end of the year. This is a sign of things to come now for this team.
Oh, without question. And this isn't to say that they're going to cruise. Hell, they might even be in a battle just to make the playoffs last year because there are a lot of good teams. But they have now established the fact that before they were kind of a semi-soft team. That's done. Now, whenever they get in the playoffs, they're going to be a bitch to get out. And the other major difference between now and 96, we got to the 96 final, and if we were being honest with ourselves and we were looking the other side and looking at Colorado, it was like, this could be ugly. Now, whether they play Dallas or Vegas in the final, assuming they get past Carolina, who's to say they can't win?
Right. I'm with you there. All right, on the Dolphins side, I know you're at the more important practice right now with the Panthers. But I saw Cam Wolf reporting that Van Ginkel is going to be moved inside now in this scheme because they're pretty comfortable with the outside guys. Your thoughts on that transition?
By the way, let me before I answer, I am here also because the media is not allowed at the OTA today. We're allowed tomorrow, and Omar and I will be there. So no, I like anything that gets Van Ginkel on the field more. I'm on board because it's not a big secret. I'm a big Van Ginkel guy, number one. Number two, it just gives you more depth at a position that was kind of lacking depth. Because right now we're looking at Jerome Baker, David Long Jr., Duke Riley, Channing Tindall if he pans out in the second year. I love adding Van Ginkel to the mix. This tells me also if you're moving Van Ginkel inside, there's another veteran edge defender on the way in at some point. Late in the process, maybe you're bringing back Melvin Ingram, maybe you're bringing back Trey Flowers, Justin Houston still out there. There's another name, escapes me right now. There's another prominent high-profile guy who's still without a team. Who's to say they don't bring one of those guys again later in the process? Doesn't have to be now. So no, I like the move.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And by the way, with Van Ginkel. Sean, you got the picture there? Can you whip it out again? Excuse me while I whip this out. With Van Ginkel going to the middle, the big Wisconsin shoulder pads are going to come back, right? I would imagine. You remember Van Ginkel in Wisconsin? No?
Yeah, he wore like a really weird number. Didn't he wear like 17 or something? No, that was Baker.
Not only that, but he wore the big, thick pads, too, at the same time.
Did?
Yeah, he always at one point I think I saw him with a neck brace and everything. I
never saw that picture.
Like the class. I think he wore one, but I know. See, he's got
17. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, that's right. He did wear a weird number, but so now in the middle, I think he's going to have to unretire those big Wisconsin pads and bring them back now.
Yep. No, I like the move, and. If he lines up on the outside, I mean, maybe he gets buried and gets very little playing time again. I'm all for get him on the field.
I'm with you there. All right. Follow him on Twitter at NFL and catch his work there at alldolphins.com or NHL.com, right? NHL.com, right? That's where they can catch your work.
Yep, I will have the game recap tonight.
There you go. The game recap tonight. Alan, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up later on in the week, my friend. Thank you.
Sounds good. You be good.
You got it. There you go. Alan Poupart, baby. Getting it done. Love it. That's our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. If you need I'm talking about like custom home construction and major home remodeling, not a handyman, you call Eric right now, give you the owner's personal cell number, 305-433-4843. You want to modernize that kitchen. You need to upgrade something in your home. You want a new room. One of our listeners unfortunately had a fire. They had to remediate the entire home, so they had to gut it out. They do that too. You name it, they do it, man. Custom home construction, major home remodeling, and fully insured. So everybody that walks onto your property, if they get injured, they will not sue you. Remember, even if you don't hire EJDconstruction.com and you hire somebody else, please, I beg you, before you allow them to do anything on your property, have them prove to you that they are fully insured. If they are not fully insured, do not allow them on your property. Okay? Because you can get sued then. Don't open yourself up to a lawsuit. Then you're calling Welton Rayom. We don't want you to do that. EJDconstruction.com, 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is your custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right. Eric, he says Jerome Baker needs to move back outside. Eric, it's a new coordinator, and Jerome Baker is under contract, and they're stuck with him for one more year. They don't want him on the outside. They have their outside guys. He will have to learn. You will have to try to get by for 1 year until you can get rid of him. Okay? That's just the way it goes, bro. New system. He doesn't fit it. But this is what they'll do because they can't take the cap hit. If we're all going to be honest here, didn't I tell you last offseason that Byron Jones would be released this offseason? Didn't I tell you last offseason that Xavier Howard will be released in 2 years? That they'll release Jones this year and they'll release X next year. Okay? Same thing here as I've told you before. Jerome Baker is here for 1 more year because they cannot release him at this point in time. So it doesn't matter. I understand what you're saying. He's not a guy who can play middle linebacker. He doesn't fight through the trash. He's not that kind of guy. But unfortunately, this is what happens when you change schemes and coaches. Sometimes in the transition year, you're stuck with a player or 2 or 3 or 4 that are under contract and you can't do anything about it, and they may not fit the scheme that well, Mike Gesicki, and you kind of get through it. And you just experiment, and then you get through it, and then you move on. So it happens, my brother. So it's not a matter of being a bad coach or whatever. It's just a fact of life. Okay? And he clearly doesn't fit what they want to do on the outside, obviously. So, do your best. It is what it is. It's what was the name of that defensive back that they moved to safety and he injured his shoulder, and that's because they didn't care. It was a transition year and they were going to move on from him, and I forgot his name. One of you will remember, but that's it. Frankie says Caleb is averaging 19.3 points in the Celtics series. He averaged 11.2 against the Bucks and 10.2 against the Knicks. Caleb is the one guy, man. He's the one guy that's got that has that it quality that maybe might turn into something. But outside of that, they're still going to have to trade for another one or draft or find another star, because I think he's the only one that has a chance down the line, because there are no other ones. Yes, sir.
All right. So, and then also Griffin Gaming is saying, where do you want the screenshot sent? But I finally found it on NBA Central. They went to ESPN, and Miami Heat, number 8, lead Boston Celtics, number 2, 3-0. Series odds, Miami, -180. Boston, +150. ESPN's BPI, Boston, 72%.
Wow. That's just ridiculous. Like, okay, whatever. Man, that's insanity. That makes no sense. But then again, Jim Cramer is on every day on, what is it, CNBC, MSNBC, and where is it that stupid show is on? And there's a whole bunch of morons that follow that idiot. Charles Barkley, by the way, is now the Jim Cramer of sports. No wonder that guy has lost so much money in gambling. Yesterday, he guaranteed the Celtics. Like, really, just out of curiosity, some of you out there, are you really that stupid to believe Jim Cramer? And again, a lot of people believe Trump. And so, yeah, we have stupid people all over the place. What can I tell you? A lot of people out there aren't very smart. So what are you going to do? Let's see. If its and buts were pots and pans, the whole world would be a kitchen, says the late Hank Goldberg. Yes. Is Jim Cramer a fool, or the idiots that actually watch him are fools? That's really the question. King Short says Boston 72%. It's the chance to lose. I'm going to go 99% chance. They're done, bro. Boston has completely, given up. CNBC is the inverse Kramer is a real thing. Yes, the inverse Kramer is definitely a real thing. You definitely go against anything and everything that moron predicts. Panthers, by the way, up 2-0 in their series. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you going to say something there, Sean? Did I miss something?
Somebody said that the Heat broke the ESPN analytics because I guess the BPI, which they go off of saying Boston has a 72%, is skewed heavily by regular season point differential, which the Celtics have the best in the league at plus 6.5, while the Heat had a negative point differential of negative 0.3. So that's how they're coming up apparently with this number. So the Miami Heat have broken ESPN's analytics.
Yeah. And maybe it's pretty simple as in what Poop just said. Hey, they just severely underachieved during the regular season. It's kind of what it's looking like. 8:00 tonight, folks, on TNT, the Hurricanes and the Panthers. And as I've mentioned, this is the team I hate as a Panthers fan. I am really the Boston series. It was great to win because Boston had the best record in the history of the NHL. It was fun to beat Toronto because those Toronto idiots were like, we want Florida. And it's like, bro, you're Toronto. You guys don't win anything, like, ever. You haven't won in like 100 years. Shut up. But it was fun beating them. But Carolina, I hate because they've owned the Panthers for a long time. So this is, I got to tell you, this is one that I am really enjoying. Really enjoying. Like watching the Celtics lose. It's a lot of fun. 8:00 tonight. Denver takes a 3-0 lead on the Lakers, dominating them tonight. The Nuggets should eliminate the Lakers. We'll see. Nuggets are they're too good, bro. They're too good. And again, if Spo and this team can beat the Denver Nuggets, that will be the greatest sports feat ever in the history of South Florida sports. Okay? That's all I got to say. Inter Miami lost to Nashville 2-1. They've lost 2 in a row now. They dropped to 12th in the Eastern Conference with 15 points. Dixon Arroyo had the only score in the 93rd minute. Tuesday, they've got a U.S. Open Cup at Drive Pink Stadium. They will take on the team that they just lost to, Nashville, 2-1. So we'll see if they can advance in the U.S. Open Cup. And then Saturday, they take on Montreal at Drive Pink Stadium at 7:30. See if they can get back on the winning track here after losing 2 in a row in the MLS. Would be really, really nice. Marlins lost 2 of 3 to San Francisco, including yesterday, 7-5. They are 24-23. If they just hover around 500, right, at 500, just a game or 2 under or a game or 2 over, that's an amazing feat for Skip Schumacher and the Marlins. I doubt they will. I'm pretty sure they'll end up under 500 when it's all said and done. But right now, through almost 50 games, to be 24-23, mad props to them for that. Coors Field tonight, 8:40. They start a set against the Rockies. Edward Cabrera, 3-3, a 5.13 ERA, taking on Chase Anderson, debut today. Okay. Got that going on. It is noon. Hour number 3 is next. You got some questions? Line them up here on the chat board. Remember to smash the hell out of the like button. It is very important that you smash the hell out of the like button. You can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And on the other side, let's talk about what we love seeing from Jimmy yesterday. That was a lot of fun. That's next. You know, I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there. A beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that. They can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden, there she is. There she is, the one and only. She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet mated. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner where Bono's leaving. Got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out, cuttersedgepro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? They can cut your trees down, and the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy?
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Hour number 3 of the program. GP Trap, I agree, Big O. Can't stand Boston, can't stand Carolina, especially as a Panthers fan. Jesus. I don't have anything against Carolina for anything else, but the Hurricanes, I can't stand their ass. Nuggets versus the Heat. Jokic is what concerns me. I think we can control Murray. Well, definitely Jokic. Well, Butler's going to have to do an amazing job on Murray, but they're not stopping Jokic. Bam's not stopping Jokic. Big O, don't underestimate the Heat's experience in big games, and the Nuggets' first finals might play a big part, especially in coaching. Actually, Malone's done a really good job. He's a good coach. He's a son of a coach. I'm not sure if you have any history and know who his dad is and all that. So Brendan Malone was a hell of an assistant coach for the Utah Jazz under Frank Layden for a long time. So Malone's got some good genes, bro. So, and he's done a marvelous job with them. So I disagree with you. And I don't think that the Nuggets are going to be, worried about being in the NBA Finals. They're a damn good team. What I think is some of you may be too much of a Heat fan and you're not giving the due respect to the Denver Nuggets because you love your Heat so much. But the bottom line is Denver's better, bro. They're better, period. And they have 2 stars. the dynamics in everything. 2 stars to 1. And you're going to need all the role players to kind of make up for all of that. And they've got some pretty damn good role players with Bruce and with what's his kid's name, Porter and stuff. So they've got some guys, man, that can play. I'm ecstatic that the Heat are up 3-0 and hated the Celtics as a Lakers fan. Celtics will never pass the Lakers in banners. Let's see. Celtics will never pass the Lakers in banners. Don't the Celtics have more banners than the Lakers? I thought the Celtics had the most championships. The Lakers have the most championships? I don't realize that. I don't know why I thought the Celtics had more. Because damn, and Bill
Looks to
Russell's
me like they're tied at 16.
I'm sorry?
It looks to me like they're tied at 16.
Oh, they're tied at 16?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, at least what I'm looking at here.
Okay. Look it up there for me.
Oh, well, they have 17 total championships.
Okay. And then the Lakers?
The same. Lakers and the 2 NBA teams with the most titles are the Lakers and the Celtics, each of which have 17 total championships.
Okay, so I'm not sure what that guy's talking about. Way to do your homework, bro. I love how some of you out there, you say shit and you're so unprepared. There's a reason why people can lie to you constantly, and a lot of you are freaking stupid, and you just believe whatever, somebody tells you. And you just go with it. You know what I'm saying? I knew right off the bat, Lakers don't have more championships. It's like, what is he talking about? And by the way, the Celtics are closer to winning a championship than the Lakers are. I get it. The Lakers got lucky with the bubble and all that, but they got lucky. They really shouldn't be even tied with Boston right now. They needed a damn injury. Joe Romano, thank you for the love in the super chat, sir. Big O, thanks for doing a stream last night. Catching the replay was great on my drive from Rockville, Daytona Beach to Tampa at 1:30 a.m. Awesome. Well, thank you, dude. That's very nice of you. Sean and I appreciate that immensely. Again, on paper, the Nuggets are better. Bro, this ain't about paper, okay? The Nuggets are the best team, period. They, by performance, by talent, my man. John, you know what you're missing, right? I just told you Jokic and Murray. The Heat have nothing to counter that. They have Jimmy Butler. That's it. Their record is not even close to the Nuggets. Their play this year, not even close to the Nuggets. The Nuggets are the superior team. Will my heart be rooting for Miami? Yes, but I'm not paid to be a blind-ass fan like you, my brother. The Nuggets are better in every way, shape, and form than the Miami Heat. End of story. Talent, performance, everything. This will take a miracle for Miami to win. In order for Miami to win, they need injuries on the side of Denver. If Denver stays healthy, I don't see Miami winning this. Because they're not Boston. Okay? Jokic and Murray are going to show up. They're not Tatum and Brown. Put it that way. Okay?
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Going on with some of you like John is that you're too much of a fan. and you're not willing to admit that that's going to be one almost impossible nut to crack. They're an awesome team, dude. Way better than Miami. They're going to need injuries to win that one. Let's see. Griffin Gaming again. Thank you, sir. It's funny he said that because Boston had more until 2020. Clown tier comment out of him. It's just, you know what it is, Griffin? It's just there's a lot of people out there that they don't do their homework, bro. That's why they can lie to you and tell you shit, and people will get away with it. You know, Elizabeth Warren will tell you CBDCs are they're great for you. You know, it's a great way for us to control you. You know, it's the same thing. Doesn't matter what it is. Fox News will lie to you, and a whole bunch of idiots are believing it. You know, still kind of the way it is. Biden will tell you, oh, the banks are all good. And you morons will repeat it. Oh, no, Biden says it. He's an honest man. He says our banking system is fine. You know, so people like that said shit like that, those are the kind of people that they sucker all the time. The guy that sent that in about they'll never pass this, that's the guy that takes the Nigerian prince, and he gets the email and he starts to send them money because he's going to give billions in return. You know, you save the Nigerian prince, he will share his wealth with you. You know, so Alan says, my brother, I watch you every day practically. Me and you have grown up here in South Florida, loving our teams. You are doubting the Heat just like I was. I'm not doubting the Heat. I'm just going by talent. And Celtics have better talent. They don't have the heart. And that's what you had to measure. And it's been measured. But the Denver Nuggets, I would think that's a tough nut to crack. Alan, again, Thursday. I'm at Hialeah Racetrack. I'll take all bets. I'll take Denver. You take Miami. Okay? I mean, straight up. Straight up. Bring the money. And please don't be like the other guy. Well, I should have taken your bet. You know. So, if those of you want to bet me straight up that Denver is going to beat Miami, I would love to lose that money. It would be, you know, it sucked to lose money. But if the Heat are going to win the title, that's fine. But I know I'm going to take your money, unfortunately, because Denver's better than Miami. Now, if Denver suffers injuries, then, okay, that could open up the door for Miami. But I don't see Miami beating Denver. I think Denver is much better than anything they've faced. And I don't know how they stop Jokic. In fact, I know they can't stop Jokic. And Bam never can stop centers that are bigger than him, ever. He doesn't even give them trouble. It's not his game, unfortunately. You know? So, Hialeah Racetrack, 3 to 6 p.m. Bring the money. A lot of you talk a really good game. Nobody ever shows up. You know what I'm saying? So don't tell me later on, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. Talk, talk, talk. Chatter, chatter, chatter. Talk, talk, talk. Chatter, chatter, chatter. That's all I ever see. By the way, Big O, attend Rockville when you get the chance. I've been to Rockville. Tool and Deftones were great, but oddly enough, Godsmack was truly incredible. Godsmack is awesome, dude. So I'm surprised. I saw Godsmack there at Rockville a few years back. I saw the Deftones. I've seen them a couple times too. They're excellent. Tool was down here recently. Did not see Tool up in Rockville, that's for sure. Spo is the better coach, but it's not like Malone is substantially worse. It's literally the two best coaches in the league right now. Malone's done an awesome job, dude. Awesome job. Nuggets are loaded, bro. It's going to be a really tough test for the Heat. It's really an impossible nut to crack for them. It's hard, bro. Let's see. Big O Dolphin question. Are there other upcoming opponents that run the Fangio system like the Chargers did last year? If so, what advantage or disadvantages is there to playing those teams? It's up to McDaniel. Fangio can tell you whatever you want about the system, but it's still up to McDaniel to figure stuff out. Remember, Fangio was part of supposedly helping out the offense in the Super Bowl and didn't really pay off because his team didn't win the Super Bowl. It's really up to McDaniel figuring it all out. And then one of the things that will help what happened in that scheme was that they crowded the middle of the field. Do you know how you stop that? Running the ball. Suck up those linebackers, open up the middle of the field. Do you know how you also clear that up? Tight end. Make the tight end a bigger part of your offense. I think that's what they're trying to do. One, he already talked that he needs to run more. That will help out. And two, they want to incorporate the tight end more into the offense. Let's see what happens. So to me, it's not going to be about Fangio. Let's see, Mr. Spock. Do it this way, right? Mr. Spock says he 2011 team was better than Mavs, yet Dallas won the series in 6. Carlisle brought Barea off the bench, and the rest is history. In Game 7 series matchup, bench and defense are factors. Yes. The Dallas Mavericks were the better team, and LeBron James had not grown up and his balls had not dropped. That's really what happened in that series. LeBron's BBs had not dropped yet. He hadn't really become a man yet in the NBA. He was still a man-child, is what he was. If we really want to look at what happened there, your superstar was not a superstar in the moments that you're supposed to be a superstar. And then the following year, he finally graduated and he finally busted through against the Boston Celtics in Game 6. So I am going to blame it more on the fact that LeBron's a choker, kind of like what Jason Tatum is going through. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of the way I'll look at it. Pat in Nashville says, wait, I've been chatting with the Nigerian prince. Ask him if he's got some extra tickets to a couple of the YouTube shows there, Pat. Bet against your own team? No, I'm not really betting against my own team. I just want to take the money of smartasses. That's all. It's not really much about betting against my own team, although I will pick the Nuggets. Remember, this is not a homer show. You guys want to go watch YouTube fanboys? You guys can go do that. Okay, there are plenty fans that do shows. I am not a fan doing a show. I am a media member doing a show. I happen to be a fan, but I will try to be objective about things. I could be wrong, like Boston in 7, but I'm going to go by talent. I'm not making picks by heart. That doesn't take any skill. So if you're looking for somebody with pom-poms and a cheerleader, then, you know, there's plenty of shows for you out there that have no balls whatsoever, and they worry about backlash from you guys or whatever. So they've always got to pick the hometown team. It's not what we do here. Just because I root for the hometown team doesn't mean that I'm going to pick it. Okay? So I'm not picking Miami in any way, shape, or form against the Nuggets. The Nuggets are supposed to win the series. They're the better team. Just like the Celtics. If they had Spo, they would be winning this series. But their coach isn't good enough to get those guys rattled up enough to get them focused. And it is what it is. But it's really more about taking your money. So, Papa, if you're so confident on your team and you're doing it with, your brain and not your heart, Hialeah Racetrack, bring the money. Bring the money on Thursday. I'll be there by 2:30 so we can, get the bets straightened out there. Bring it. Big O said, show me the money. That's it. Show me the money. That's all. Talk is cheap. Show me the money. Oh, can both our teams stay hot enough to bring 2 championships for South Florida? No. I think the Panthers win the championship. I think the Heat fall short in 5 or 6 to the Denver Nuggets. That's what I think happens. Okay? I just don't. The Panthers are better than both Vegas and the Stars. They already beat teams that are better than Vegas and the Stars in Boston and Toronto and even Carolina. So I like the Panthers to win it all. I don't like the Heat's chances to win it all. Like I told you, I'm going to look at it objectively. It's really easy for me to just pick the hometown team every single time. Wow. Is that what you really want? If you do, boy, you're a little too emotional for me. Oh, can both our teams... Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Big O, how many games does it take the Panthers to beat the Canes? Hopefully 2 more. I'm going to say 5. I'm going to give the Carolina Hurricanes 1 at least. Okay. Big O, I've been giving money to a prince from Wakanda online. Well, no wonder Wakanda's got such a badass island they live in. Although that one dude can actually penetrate their force field and show up there. That freaked her out. Mr. Lyle says, thanks for answering the question. Thank you, sir, for supporting us. I've been giving money to a prince from Wakanda online. I think I'm good to go, and I've been waiting the last 5 years for the money to start pouring in. It's coming up any second now. Would you trade Brown for Dame if you were the Celtics? Oh, God, in a heartbeat. For Lillard? Yeah, dude, of course I would. You get an assassin on the team. Yeah, I would trade for Dame Lillard as an assassin. Why not? I think that one should be good to go. By the way, Fast and Furious Fast X is out, number 10, $67 million in the U.S. opening weekend, $319 million globally. I'm not really going to go see this in the movies. I usually wait for these to come to, cable or whatever. Is it any good? Because at one point or another, you figure they've got to jump the shark. This is the last one, right? Supposedly. What was a scouting report? Did anybody go see Fast 10 or Fast X? Whatever you want to call it. And from the, let's see, the overrated department, Jadeveon Clowney, after almost a decade of being selected as the number 1 overall pick of the Houston Texans in the 2014 draft, he is now open to a potential return. Clowney made his comments on KRIV TV this week, saying he was a big fan of new Texans coach DeMeco Ryans, and his representatives have had discussions with the team. It would be nice. All my family is here, friends here. The guys I work out with can help take care of my body, and a lot better being up under the team. You never know. You never know what will happen. You never know what's in front of you. I see what they've got here. They're putting nice pieces together. I'm a big fan of their new head coach. Texans drafted him number 1 in 2014, played 5 seasons with the team after being traded to Seattle for a 3rd-round pick, along with Jacob Martin and Batavius Mingo. Since the trade, he has bounced around the NFL, making brief stops with the Seahawks, Titans, and the Browns. He spent the past 2 seasons playing in Cleveland. In 109 career games, he has registered 43 sacks, 90 tackles for losses, 109 quarterback hits, and 13 forced fumbles, 8 fumble recoveries. He also has an interception and 23 pass defenses with 4 touchdowns, 1 interception return, and 3 fumble returns in his career. The former South Carolina standout is a free agent this offseason. Of course, he's open to a return to Houston. He's a free agent. Jadeveon Clowney's no dummy. Nobody wants him. He's bounced around all over the place. I remember when he first got drafted, right? And he blew out the knee. And I said, this is going to be a problem for him. That blowing out the knee, he may never be that player again. And if you remember, obviously, the highlight that we saw more than any highlight in the history of college football was him busting through the line and getting to the Michigan quarterback, right? You guys remember this, right? Boom, bust through the line, helmet goes flying off. Jadeveon's celebrating, all that good stuff. And it's that this highlight reel it's like OBJ's, catch over and over and over again. Is OBJ and Jadeveon Clowney are these the 2 highlights we've played the most in the last 10 to 12 years? What would you say? Sean? The OBJ one-handed catch in the end zone and the Jadeveon Clowney hit. Are those 2 highlights that have been played more than any other highlights pretty much in the last 10 plus years in sports? Right? Both guys severely overrated. Both guys never lived up to any of the hype. I used to get a text all the time when I was at QAM, years ago, or maybe even 640, the Clown even followed me there. And he used to brag all the time about, Jadeveon Clowney, the guy that has averaged 4.7 sacks per year. After all that, in 9 years, the guy's averaged 4.7 sacks a year. Yeah, so he's open. You think he's really that big a fan of the head coach, DeMeco Ryans, or is he just a fan of, I'm a fan of that coach and this coach and that coach. Anybody that'll give me a job, I'm a fan. After all, it's May. Most people have signed pretty much all their rosters. Maybe they'll tweak 1 or 2 positions and you're still out there. Jadeveon Clowney. And I never heard from that guy again. He never bothered to reach out and say, after I bugged you all the time about Jadeveon Clowney, I was wrong. But you never get those. He would make a play and the guy would say, you see, he's going to be awesome. I'm like, brother, go check out the numbers. He's not getting any sack numbers that are anywhere near superstar level or anything like that. Jadeveon Clowney. That is too much, dude. That is too much. Do you consider Clowney a bust? Yeah, dude. Major bust. No doubt he's a bust. For sure. Yeah. Number 1 overall, you're supposed to be a dominant monster. Never was that. Not 1 season of dominance. And 1 season of dominance isn't enough. It's like Jake Long. Jake Long is a bust. Jake Long didn't survive 2 contracts with you. You had him for 1 contract, and he got injured on the back end of that contract, and then you got rid of him. So he became a bust. Doesn't matter what he did the first 3 years, and he was dominant, one of the best tackles. But if you take him number 1 overall, bro, he needs to be on your team for 10 plus years. You need to put him on the Ring of Honor. He has to be one of the greatest players you've ever had because you picked him number 1 overall. So as far as a Dolphin fan is concerned, bro, Jake Long is a bust. And he had a couple more seasons that were way better than Jadeveon Clowney. And Clowney was a bust. A major bust. So yeah, total bust. Big O, Fast Series, 1 left to go. Oh, there's 1 more? Jesus. I'm waiting on this one to come to streaming as well. Okay. So they have an 11 coming up too? Jesus, the money grab is big. They should make a parody called Slow and Docile, consisting of Corollas. I would so watch that as a former owner of one. But they're good cars, man. Corollas are really good cars. They last forever. I had a Corolla years ago, and it was a really good car, man. I get it. It's small and 4-cylinder, and if you're looking for certain other things, you may not find it, but damn, it's a reliable car. Ray says, who do you think is more overrated, Odell Beckham or Clowney? I'll go Clowney because at least Odell Beckham's had a couple of pretty good seasons, whereas Clowney's never really had those kind of seasons that you were expecting him to have. Big O, who are your favorite non-Dolphin players in the NFL? Well, Walter Payton is my favorite player of all time. Just so you'll know, and he's not a Dolphin fan. He's not a Dolphin. But I have so much admiration for Walter. It's favorite players in the NFL. Let's go right now that I admire that aren't Dolphins. Aaron Donald. Definitely. That's a guy I can admire. God. I know there's a couple. I'm just trying to think of who the hell they are now. Damn. I know there's a couple. It's just right now I'm brain farting on guys that I like or admire, and they're not Dolphin fans here in the league right now. Damn, dude. This sucks. I know there's got to be a couple. I don't know why I am not Cam Jordan is one. Defensive end for the New Orleans Saints has been there for a while now. He should be pretty close to retirement. Another year, 2 or 3, maybe, no more than that. Cam Jordan would be definitely one of them. I like him a lot. I think he's, a complete just player, human being, all of that kind of stuff. So Cam Jordan would be one. Let me think of another one at least that I can go after. Let's see. Jalen Hurts. I've admired him since he was at Alabama, lost his job to Tua, handled it with amazing class, then went to Oklahoma and carried himself like a pro, and then has come to the NFL, has kept his mouth shut, has worked his ass off to become a better player and better passer, which is something I don't. When you're inaccurate from the get-go, I kind of lose hope that you'll become accurate. And to his credit, he worked on his accuracy and played better. And I just really admire the human being in Justin Fields. I mean, Justin Fields. I'm sorry. Not Justin Fields. The other kid, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I like Jalen Hurts. That's definitely one of them. Yeah, Bruce Smith, definitely. Barry Sanders. Yeah, no doubt. Those are definitely ones that you can really appreciate. We all know O is a huge Watson fan. That's it. You massaged me the right way. You're correct. You got it out of me. Picked a QB with a Tua connection. Brilliant, Big O. Jalen Hurts. It's just, he's a fantastic young man. You know, he sets a great example for all of us, because we're all going to have setbacks in life. We're all going to fail, or we're going to lose out. Maybe we're still good at what we do, but we lost to somebody that's a little better. You know, it might be a better salesperson, you know, might be a better broadcaster, might be a better athlete, might be a better manager, whatever it is, and whatever race it is that you're in professionally. But I love the way Jalen Hurts handled all kinds of adversity and attacked it, you know, and has overcome. So I have to give him a lot of credit. I have to admire guys like Jalen Hurts, man. You know, Derrick Henry, that's a good one, Eddie, because he takes a beating, dude, and he just keeps his mouth shut. Joe Montana, yeah, Ed Reed, those are easy to admire. Those are good ones right there by you guys. Those are in the past. I was trying to think of some fresh ones, and that's why I wanted to think of like Jalen Hurts, because you know, just gotta love the way he brings it to the table. What else do we have going on in the world of deportes? We got Tatum and Brown choking. We got Barkley as the Jim Cramer of sports. And we have Jimmy Butler, the antagonist. And he said it the other day, he might not be the best guy to talk to. And, well, Mr. Horford, Jimmy had a little something for you, by the way, last night.
Spicy here in South Beach.
Horford gives him the tee after the three. And then we freeze. Boom. Here's the three. Bam. Butler, and hey, Al, timeout. That was awesome, dude. That was awesome. That's fantastic. You better get the best of him, because if you don't, you will hear from Jimmy Butler. And that's where this whole dynamic changes. Oh, man. Ray says it's hard to hate Jalen Hurts. I know Cowboys and Giants fans who actually like him. I mean, how do you hate Jalen Hurts? You can hate Ben Roethlisberger, but you can't hate Jalen Hurts. Ben Roethlisberger has been and maybe still is an asshole. But this is a guy that's trashed his own teammates, self-centered, allegedly maybe a rapist. Probably got away with it. Looks like it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and by the way, we can add another thing to Ben Roethlisberger being an absolute a-hole. I'm not sure if some of you were aware of this, but Ben Roethlisberger came out and admitted that he is, a dirtbag. Why? He brought Kenny Pickett onto his podcast, right? And so this past season, Kenny Pickett kind of showed that he, has the potential to be a pretty good player. He improved as the season went on. So Ben Roethlisberger had him on his show. And, okay, so am I going to be able to see this thing, or is it going to freeze up on me now? Jesus. Anyway, so Pickett made an appearance on his podcast. This is crap, bro. I can't read the story for you if this thing doesn't. Okay. Anyways, Roethlisberger admitted that he didn't necessarily want to see him succeed. Roethlisberger told Pickett that probably the selfishness of me, and I feel bad for it. Now, I give him credit for admitting that he was being selfish. And he goes, I'll be completely honest and I'll be super transparent here. I'm going to get blasted. I'll be doing it. I probably shouldn't say this. You shouldn't. But who cares at this point? Thank you. I wouldn't say that I wanted Kenny to necessarily fail, but like when somebody comes to replace you and I still feel like I had it. Really, dude? Did you watch yourself last year? You didn't have it. I hope he doesn't come in and ball out, because then it's like Ben who, right? But honestly, I think you started playing and I found myself rooting more and more for you. We sat down here and watched games and we were high-fiving and going nuts when you were leading the team and doing things, and running and trying to fight people and doing all that stuff. I feel bad, and I came on this show and I apologize to you for knowing how good, for not knowing how good he was going to be. Again. Come on, man. Anyways. Let me see. Here we go. I just didn't know. I had no idea. I didn't know that you were the runner-up that you were. I just didn't know what was going to happen. I wasn't aware. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm glad that I was wrong in the sense of where I had you. I thought you would be a quarterback that was good. I think you're the future of the team. I really do. Now, I give him credit for at least admitting it, right? But deep down inside, you're still a jackass. You're done, bro. Your history. You're in the archives. It's like, you know what I would tell the people at Onside? I tell them, yo, man, I've had my run. I've got a couple years left, whatever. But you guys are all young, man. You guys have an opportunity to make your own way. Learn this business, understand it, so you can make your imprint and be here as long as you can. I'm not going to be here another 30 years. I don't want to be here another 30 years, to be quite honest. I've done this already for 33 years. You know what I mean? I know where I'm at in my career. It's like, but I've always been the guy that wants to help anyone. Doesn't matter who it is. Ask Sean. He knows it. He's been around me now for a few years, and I help many people out in many ways. You know what I mean? Because that's always been me. But this guy, like, brother, we watched you last year. 2 years ago, you didn't have anything left. You were done, just like Drew Brees. Hang it up, brother. Hang it up. And Kenny Pickett, way to go, dude. You tolerated that loser. Anyway, Ray says, that was sweet. Hey, Al Karma is a beach. LOL. Hey, bro, I know you probably seemed disturbed before, but I'm taking my old lady in August. Are you going? Okay, I have no idea what that is. That might be another conversation. I bet Paul Pierce still has nightmares of losing to D Wade in Miami. Yep. He usually ends up on a wheelchair when he thinks about those nightmares. Jalen Hurts seems like a great dude. Now he's a generational wealth. Really inspiring. Yep. I just hope, it's the Dolphins and not him winning the Super Bowl this year. That's all. Just hope that's the case. You know what I'm saying? By the way, don't forget to visit our friends at Sports Grill. You've got all these playoff games going on, man. And listen, Sports Grill, you can take the hot sauces home, the buffalo sauce, the Miami Heat, the blackberry, the barbecue, the Dale. And, folks, don't forget, you've got the NHL playoffs going on. You got the Panthers tonight. You got the Heat back in action tomorrow. And you can follow all of these games at one of the 8 great locations at Sports Grill. So make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. Go out there and check it out. 8 amazing locations. Sports Grill, baby. Enjoy it with friends, family, and some amazing food. All right. Big O, I wonder if Huberto is watching the Stanley Cup games this year. Well, he is now watching going, yeah, I couldn't do that. Yeah, what that guy, yeah, no, I'm not that Kachuk guy. It's about the only thing he can say, right? What else is he going to say? So how bad are the markets? Bitcoin still holding strong right around 27, so it hasn't really moved that much. Everything else is slightly above the green, not by much. ADA 2.5%, that's pretty high right now. But SHIB is up 3.5%. Not a ton going on. And as for the markets right now, folks, the Dow is down 126, almost 127 points. The S&P 500 is up 2 points. And the NASDAQ is just under 1/4 of a point. So not too bad. So the markets are down, but not too much. Not a big deal. What else do we have going on? You see any other headlines out there, Sean, that I have not addressed? Because I have not seen anything out there that has broken. Tomorrow we will have an abbreviated show, by the way, folks. Okay, just so you'll know, because I will be going to the doctor tomorrow. Okay. I heard the same about Godsmack killing it at Rockville. Going to try and go next year, depending on the lineup. If you ever get a chance to go see Godsmack, go see them. They're exceptional in concert. Ashley Williams says, amazing story with Heat and Panthers. If they win their respective titles, it gives me hope for the Finns if everyone stays healthy. Yeah, I've got a lot of hope for the Finns this year if they stay healthy. I'm with you there. And I do have a lot of hope for the Panthers. The Heat, I just think it's, my God, I think the pinnacle is getting to the finals because they're really not supposed to beat Denver. If they beat Denver, I'm telling you this, okay? It's the greatest upset for a championship in the history of pro sports in South Florida, okay? It beats the 83 Canes beating Nebraska, and it beats the Marlins beating the Yankees in 2003, okay? The Dolphins Super Bowls back in the day weren't necessarily shocking upsets. The Marlins' first championship was actually an expected championship. Okay? The 97 was expected. They loaded that team up so much, you were like, dude, they got a challenge for a title. They were like 27-5 in the preseason. Spring training, I'm sorry. Seriously. Go look it up. I don't know what it is. Sean, do me a favor. Look at the 97 spring training record of the Marlins. It was like stupid. Just stupid. And halfway through the season, they go and add Dutch Dalton and Eisenreich and Dennis Cook. Just stupid shit that they added more talent to that team. You know what I'm saying? So from the spring on, we knew that lineup was so veteran laden with Jim Leland. We were like, yeah, dude, this is a World Series caliber team. And sure enough, they went to the World Series and won it. Even though it was a wild card too. But this here, beating the Celtics is awesome, but the Celtics are chokers. Okay? Denver's not playing like chokers. Denver's playing like they're the best team in the league. You know what I'm saying? So this will become the greatest upset in South Florida sports history if Miami beats Denver. That's how special it is. And the only two upsets that I can come close to are Yankees and Marlins in 2003, and then the the Nebraska game in 1983. And Nebraska was just considered a powerhouse, and nobody except us down here as fans thought we had a chance. And hell, they easily could have lost that game too. I think you're right, man. Upset Miami, beat Denver in 6. That would be amazing. Yes, sir.
Looks like it might have been 26-5.
Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I was yawning. 26-5, you said?
Yeah, I believe it was 26-5, if this is correct.
I said 27-5. Okay, so I was close. Stupid, bro. That's just a stupid record in the spring when you don't even, take it that serious. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're a veteran-laden team like that. But it showed you how loaded they were. And right from the get-go, we all knew back in 97, like, oh, man, dude, Wayne and Dombrowski loaded this shit up. And that was awesome. Gloria Stefan singing at the stadium. God, breaking attendance records because obviously you're playing baseball in a football stadium. Just absolutely awesome. Heat only favored by 1.5. What the F? Troy? We talked about this yesterday, right? This is good news. Lay the 1.5, bro. I hope they bring it down even lower. I love the Heat tomorrow to eliminate them. I think they're done. I don't think there's any more fight in the Celtics. And I think if the Heat takes some kind of a lead early on, that's it. It puts them on behind the 8 ball, and they're not even going to try. So Celtics are lifeless, no passion, playing with no urgency. Heat win it in 4. So what it looks like, and they better, by the way, because I think Denver is eliminating the Lakers tonight. All right, folks, we are out of here. We thank Ira Winderman. We thank Alan Poupart. We thank Marcel Louis-Jacques. If you missed any of those, we previewed Panthers and Carolina tonight with Poupart. So if you want to check that out and you missed it at 11 o'clock, you can rewind. Sean will be putting up that video soon. Ira Winderman also joining us, and Marcel Louis-Jacques. So we got you covered with a little Heat, little Panthers. We did talk some Dolphins also with Poupart, and then obviously with Marcel, pretty much all Dolphins, outside of if he's attending one of these local games. And I think he's going to try because, of course, it takes his better half to get him to one of those games. So, Haley, way to go. Straighten that young man out, Haley. Anyway, we will see you all. Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend that masters this entire platform. We thank him. We thank all of you that tuned in, sent in a super chat. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. And we love our Bitcoin donations there. Let me check. I don't see any donations there right now. But appreciate all of you out there. If you send anything in down the line on Cash App or Venmo, and don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. We shall see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.